Welcome to the Harlequin Ledger, 1930-style mystery by the Glitch Bureau. This book covers The Mandarin Mystery, 1930, is a classic early sound-era crime mystery that blends suspense, investigation, and intrigue in the shadowy world of high society and hidden motives. When a puzzling death draws attention to a circle of suspects, a determined investigator begins to uncover secrets that point toward a carefully concealed truth. With atmospheric settings, sharp dialogue, and methodical storytelling, the film reflects the evolving style of mystery cinema at the dawn of the talkies. Its themes of deception, justice, and intellect-driven detection give the story a tense and engaging pace. This motion picture is presented for historical, educational, and entertainment purposes. Experience a classic crime mystery where every clue matters and nothing is quite as it first appears. Chapter 1: The Unveiling. The grand ballroom of Victor Harlequin's mansion shimmered under the glow of crystal chandeliers, casting a warm light over the elegantly dressed guests. Detective Eliza Sinclair, blending seamlessly into this world of opulence, observed with a discerning eye. Her presence at the gala was no mere social engagement. It was the beginning of an investigation that promised to unravel the facade of high society. As guests mingled, a hushed excitement rippled through the room. A mysterious ledger had been discovered among Victor's belongings, igniting whispers of intrigue and suspicion. Eliza, ever the astute observer, noted the subtle shifts in demeanor among the key figures. Victor's widow, whose serene exterior belied a simmering tension, Mr. Langley, the business partner whose furtive glances suggested unease, and the enigmatic artist whose volatile temperament was as infamous as their masterpieces. Amidst the clinking of glasses and soft strains of a string quartet, Eliza's keen senses picked up on the nuances of conversation. Every whispered exchange, every sidelong glance, became a piece of the puzzle she intended to solve. The ledger, with its cryptic entries, was more than a mere book. It was a key to unlocking the secrets hidden behind the mansion's silk curtains. As the evening progressed, Eliza's mind raced, piecing together the dynamics at play. Her role as a socialite was a masterful guise, allowing her to navigate this world of wealth and deception with ease. In this opulent setting, where nothing was as it seemed, she knew that the truth lay just beneath the surface, waiting to be unveiled. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood at the threshold of Victor Harlequin's grand ballroom, her eyes sweeping over the sea of elegantly dressed guests. The scent of expensive perfumes mingled with the subtle aroma of gourmet hors d'oeuvres, creating a heady atmosphere that was both intoxicating and suffocating. The grand gala was in full swing, a spectacle of opulence and power. Yet beneath the glittering surface, Eliza could sense an undercurrent of tension. Eliza, masquerading as a socialite, moved through the crowd with practiced ease. Her keen eyes missed nothing, capturing every subtle glance and whispered conversation. She was here to observe, to blend in with the elite, and to uncover the secrets that lay hidden beneath their polished exteriors. Her mission was clear: to investigate the mysterious death of Victor Harlequin and the enigmatic ledger found among his belongings. The widow, draped in a somber yet elegant black gown, stood across the room, engaging in a hushed conversation with Mr. Langley. His nervous demeanor did not escape Eliza's notice. She observed the way his eyes darted around the room, as if seeking an escape, or perhaps ensuring that no one overheard their exchange. The widow's face was a mask of practiced grief, yet there was something in her manner that hinted at more than just mourning. Eliza's attention shifted to an enigmatic artist, whose brooding presence seemed to cast a shadow even in the well-lit room. His whispered exchanges with various guests suggested a volatile temperament, and Eliza couldn't help but wonder about the nature of his relationship with Victor. Was he merely a guest, or was there a deeper connection, perhaps even a motive? As she mingled, Eliza overheard snippets of conversations. The name Victor floated through the air, often followed by words like secretive dealings and the ledger. Each interaction added another layer to the complex web of intrigue surrounding Victor's death. It was clear that the ledger was more than just a collection of numbers. It was a key to understanding the hidden dynamics at play. Eliza discreetly made her way towards Victor's study, the place where the ledger had been discovered. The room was a testament to Victor's taste for luxury, yet it held an air of mystery. The rich mahogany furniture, the intricate art pieces strategically placed, and the faint scent of cigar smoke all suggested a man who valued both opulence and secrecy. As Eliza examined the ornate desk, her fingers traced its edges until she found a hidden compartment. Inside, she discovered documents that hinted at Victor's penchant for secrecy, further igniting her determination to unravel the truth. Returning to the Gala, Eliza engaged the widow in a seemingly casual conversation. Her questions were gentle probes, designed to elicit insights into Victor's life. The widow's guarded responses and her fleeting glances toward Mr. Langley suggested a deeper connection than what was apparent. Eliza's intuition told her that beneath the veneer of grief lay a web of deceit. As the evening wore on, Eliza witnessed a heated exchange between Mr. Langley and the artist. Their voices rose above the ambient music, drawing the attention of nearby guests. The artist's cryptic remarks about past betrayals and hidden treasures piqued Eliza's curiosity. Hinting at a potential motive intertwined with the ledger's secrets, the evening's events began to form a mosaic in Eliza's mind. Each interaction, each whispered word, and each glance exchanged added to the tapestry of intrigue and deception. She realized that the gala was not just a social event, but a stage where hidden agendas played out in plain sight. Eliza's role as a perceptive investigator was clear. She was the one who could navigate the shadows of high society, piecing together the clues that others overlooked. Her observations had painted a complex picture of relationships and concealed motives, each thread leading back to the enigmatic ledger. To demonstrate the depth of the mystery, consider the conversation Eliza had with a former associate of Victor's, who revealed a scandal from years past. This scandal had rocked high society, leaving a trail of broken alliances and simmering rivalries. It was an example of how Victor's life was intertwined with both power and peril, and it provided Eliza with a crucial piece of the puzzle. Furthermore, as Eliza delved deeper into the evening's events, she began to see the connections between the ledger and Victor's death. The ledger was not just a financial record. It was a map of Victor's dealings, each entry a clue to his relationships and rivalries. What mattered most was understanding the significance of these entries and how they related to the night of Victor's demise. Eliza's exploration of Victor's study had revealed more than just a hidden compartment. It had unveiled Victor's world, a place where art and opulence masked darker secrets. Her discovery of documents within the desk hinted at transactions and alliances that were anything but transparent. This provided good results in her investigation, offering a glimpse into the complexities of Victor's life. As the gala drew to a close, Eliza's mind raced with possibilities. Each clue, each conversation, and each observation had woven a tapestry of intrigue and deception. She understood that the truth was hidden within this tapestry, waiting to be unraveled. In the world of high society, where appearances were everything, Eliza Sinclair was the one who saw beyond the facade. Her journey was not just about uncovering the truth behind Victor Harlequin's death, but also about confronting the moral ambiguities that arose when justice was pursued in a world rife with deceit. The evening had set the stage for the unfolding mystery, establishing Eliza's role as a perceptive investigator amidst a world of opulence and shadow. As she prepared to delve deeper into the enigma of Victor Harlequin's death and the secrets concealed within the ledger, readers were left eager to follow her journey. In conclusion, glimpses of intrigue not only advanced the plot, but also enriched the emotional journey, offering readers a tantalizing glimpse into the complexities of human nature and the allure of the unknown. The chapter seamlessly bridged to the next, setting the tone for the unfolding mystery and leaving readers eager for more. The opulent gala at Victor Harlequin's mansion was a spectacle of elegance and excess, a fitting tribute to the man whose life and death had become the talk of the town. Under the glittering chandeliers, guests in their finest attire moved like a river of silk and satin, their laughter mingling with the soft strains of a distant orchestra. Yet beneath this veneer of gaiety lay an undercurrent of tension, a palpable sense of anticipation that something was about to shift. Detective Eliza Sinclair, poised and perceptive, navigated the room with the grace of a seasoned socialite. Her eyes, sharp and discerning, missed nothing as she observed the subtle exchanges and veiled glances that betrayed the true nature of the evening's gathering. She was here under the guise of a guest, but her purpose was far more significant than mere socializing. The death of Victor Harlequin had left a void filled with whispers of scandal and suspicion, and Eliza was determined to uncover the truth. As the evening progressed, a hushed commotion drew Eliza's attention to a small group gathered around a study door. Curiosity piqued, she moved closer, her ears catching snippets of conversation that hinted at a peculiar discovery. It was here, amidst the murmurs and furtive glances, that the mysterious ledger came into play. Found nestled among Victor's personal effects in his private study, the ledger was bound in worn leather, its pages filled with cryptic entries that seemed to hold the key to the enigma surrounding Victor's untimely demise. Eliza seized the opportunity to step forward, her guise as a socialite allowing her to seamlessly integrate into the conversation. She examined the ledger with a practiced eye, noting the meticulous handwriting and the enigmatic symbols that hinted at secrets long hidden. Her mind raced with possibilities, each entry potentially a key to unraveling the mystery that had cast a shadow over the mansion's opulent walls. The introduction of the ledger served as a catalyst, prompting Eliza to subtly engage with the initial suspects. She observed the widow's reaction, a flicker of fear crossing her face before she composed herself. Mr. Langley, the business partner, appeared visibly unsettled, his fingers drumming nervously against his glass. The enigmatic artist, known for their volatile temperament, watched with an inscrutable expression, their eyes flickering with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. This subchapter is pivotal in setting the stage for Eliza's investigation, as the ledger becomes a symbol of the secrets and lies lurking within the mansion's opulent walls. It is a moment of revelation and intrigue, drawing readers into a world where every detail matters and the truth is shrouded in mystery. Through Eliza's observations and interactions, readers gain insight into the complex web of relationships and motives that define the suspects. The discovery of the ledger not only heightens the tension, but also serves as a bridge to the subsequent chapters, where Eliza's investigation will delve deeper into the lives of those connected to Victor Harlequin. In the dim light of the study, Eliza's mind worked methodically. The ledger was more than just a collection of numbers and symbols. It was a narrative of Victor's life, a testament to the hidden dealings and secret alliances that had shaped his world. Each entry was a potential clue, a piece of the puzzle that Eliza was determined to solve. She began by examining the first few pages, her eyes scanning the neat rows of figures and annotations. The handwriting was precise, almost obsessive in its detail, and Eliza couldn't help but wonder about the mind behind it. What drove Victor to such meticulous record-keeping? What secrets were hidden within these pages? As she delved deeper, Eliza noted several recurring symbols, each one seemingly linked to a specific entry. She made mental notes, her mind racing with theories and possibilities. The ledger was more than just a financial record. It was a map of Victor's life, a guide to the hidden corridors of power and influence that he had navigated with such skill. Eliza's attention was drawn to an entry marked with a particularly elaborate symbol, one that seemed to stand out from the rest. The numbers and annotations were cryptic, but there was something about this entry that resonated with her. It was as if Victor had left a breadcrumb, a clue to a secret that he had guarded with his life. Determined to uncover the truth, Eliza decided to approach the suspects with a subtle line of questioning. She started with the widow, whose demeanor was a mix of grief and apprehension. "It must be difficult," Eliza said gently, "to lose someone so suddenly." The widow nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Victor was a complicated man," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "He had many secrets, even from me." Eliza watched her closely, noting the way her hands trembled ever so slightly. "Did he ever mention anything about a ledger?" she asked, her tone casual yet probing. The widow hesitated, a flicker of fear crossing her face. "He was always writing things down," she admitted, "but I never knew what it was about. He kept those things to himself." Next, Eliza turned her attention to Mr. Langley, the business partner whose nervous demeanor betrayed a man on edge. "Mr. Langley," she began, I understand you and Victor were close in business. Did he ever discuss his records with you? Langley shifted uncomfortably, his fingers drumming against his glass. Victor was a private man, he said, his voice tight. He handled the finances himself. I was just a partner in name. Eliza's gaze was steady, her expression unreadable. And yet, you seem quite unsettled, she observed. Is there something you'd like to share? Langley's eyes darted around the room, as if seeking an escape. No, there's nothing, he stammered. Just the shock of it all, you understand. Finally, Eliza approached the enigmatic artist, whose expression was as inscrutable as ever. Your work is quite renowned, she remarked, gesturing to a painting on the wall. Did Victor ever commission pieces from you? The artist's eyes flickered with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Victor appreciated art, they replied, their voice calm, but our relationship was more personal. Eliza's interest was piqued. Personal, you say? In what way? The artist smiled, a secretive smile that revealed nothing. Let's just say Victor had a taste for the unconventional. As the evening drew to a close, Eliza's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and theories. The ledger had opened a door, revealing a world of secrets and lies that lay hidden beneath the mansion's opulent facade. Each suspect held a piece of the puzzle, and it was up to Eliza to fit them together. In the quiet of her own thoughts, Eliza reflected on the events of the evening. The ledger was more than just a book. It was a symbol of the tangled web of relationships and motives that defined Victor's world. As she prepared to leave the mansion, she knew that her investigation was only just beginning. The discovery of the ledger had set the stage for a deeper exploration of the lives and secrets of those connected to Victor Harlequin. It was a moment of revelation and intrigue, drawing readers into a world where every detail mattered, and the truth was shrouded in mystery. Through Eliza's observations and interactions, readers gain insight into the complex web of relationships and motives that define the suspects. The discovery of the ledger not only heightens the tension, but also serves as a bridge to the subsequent chapters, where Eliza's investigation will delve deeper into the lives of those connected to Victor Harlequin. In this pivotal moment, Eliza's resolve to uncover the truth is solidified. The ledger's discovery captures the essence of the mystery genre, with its atmospheric setting and methodical storytelling, leaving readers eager to follow Eliza's path as she navigates the shadowy world of high society and hidden motives. The evening at Victor Harlequin's mansion was a study in opulence, the kind of gathering where every smile hid a secret and every laugh masked a whisper of scandal. Detective Eliza Sinclair, under the guise of a glamorous socialite, navigated this world with practiced ease. The grand ballroom shimmered with crystal chandeliers casting a soft glow over the elegantly dressed guests. But beneath the polished surface, Eliza sensed the undercurrents of tension, like a river of secrets flowing just beneath the surface. As the clock ticked towards midnight, Eliza mingled among the guests, her eyes sharp and observant. Her first target was Victor's widow, an epitome of grace and composure. Yet, as Eliza approached her with a gentle inquiry about Victor's recent activities, she noticed the faintest crack in the widow's demeanor. A slight hesitation, a carefully chosen word, all suggested that beneath her calm exterior lay layers of untold stories. It's been a difficult time, the widow confessed, her voice a soft murmur. Victor was complicated in his dealings. Her eyes darted momentarily to the crowd, as if weighing the risk of saying too much. Eliza nodded sympathetically, filing away the widow's reaction for future consideration. Next, Eliza's attention shifted to Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner. The man was a bundle of nervous energy, his gaze frequently flicking towards the study where the mysterious ledger had been discovered. Eliza engaged him in conversation, steering the topic towards Victor's business dealings. Langley's answers were evasive, his laughter too quick and too loud, betraying a man with much to hide. Victor was always the visionary, Langley remarked, his eyes never quite meeting Eliza's. I handled the practicalities. His words were accompanied by a dismissive wave, but Eliza noted the tension in his shoulders, the way his fingers drummed an anxious rhythm against his glass. The enigmatic artist, known for their volatile temperament, was the next subject of Eliza's scrutiny. Their aloofness was palpable, a stark contrast to the social warmth of the evening. When Eliza broached the topic of Victor's unresolved debts, the artist's eyes flashed with an intensity that hinted at personal vendettas and deeper connections to Victor's past. Debts are such a mundane term for what Victor owed, the artist mused cryptically, their gaze sweeping the room. Some debts go beyond money, don't you think? Their words hung in the air, laden with meaning, as Eliza noted the wary glances and hushed conversations that followed the artist's departure from each group of guests. Throughout the evening, Eliza's internal monologue served as a guide, her thoughts weaving a complex tapestry of potential motives and hidden alliances. Her strategic approach was evident in the way she orchestrated seemingly innocuous interactions among the suspects, observing their reactions with a keen eye. As the night wore on, Eliza retreated to a quiet corner, her mind racing with the possibilities unearthed. The intricate web of relationships she had begun to unravel was a puzzle she was determined to solve. Each suspect, she realized, held a piece of the mystery, and with the ledger as her guide, she resolved to dig deeper into the shadows of Victor Harlequin's life. In this subchapter, readers are drawn into the tense atmosphere of the Gala, each interaction layered with meaning and potential significance. Eliza's sharp, insightful dialogue subtly shifts the dynamics of the evening, bringing the underlying tensions to the forefront. This critical juncture in the narrative establishes the stakes and complexities of the mystery, ensuring that every clue matters in the pursuit of justice. Eliza's methodical approach allowed her to peel back the layers of deceit, setting the groundwork for the revelations to come. As she reflected on the evening's events, she sensed that the truth behind Victor's death was within reach, and she was more determined than ever to uncover it. The chapter concludes with Eliza's resolve to delve further into the shadows, armed with the knowledge that each suspect holds a key to the puzzle. The stakes are high, and the path to justice is fraught with danger and deception. But Eliza's unwavering resolve and sharp intellect make her a formidable force in the pursuit of truth. Chapter 2, Clues and Confidence. Eliza Sinclair leaned against the ornate frame of the study, her eyes scanning the room with a detective's precision. The widow, draped in mourning black, sat opposite, her voice a whisper of secrets. Victor was different, she confessed, her fingers tracing the lace of her handkerchief. He kept things from me, things I never dared to question. Intrigued, Eliza noted the tension in the widow's voice, a subtle crack in her composed facade. The air was thick with the scent of old leather and varnished wood, a testament to Victor's love for his study, a sanctuary that now held its own secrets. As Eliza's gaze fell upon the mahogany desk, she noticed an unusual gap between the drawers. With a deft touch, she revealed a hidden compartment, unveiling a collection of cryptic notes. Symbols and half-written thoughts danced across the pages, hinting at a mystery far deeper than a mere accident. Her heart quickened. Each discovery was a step closer to the truth. Later, Eliza found herself in conversation with Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner. His eyes darted nervously, his words carefully measured. Victor and I had our disagreements, he admitted, a bead of sweat tracing his temple. His evasiveness only fueled Eliza's suspicions. A meeting with the artist added another layer to the puzzle. Victor betrayed me once, the artist revealed, his voice tinged with bitterness. Eliza noted the potential motive, a betrayal that could have festered into something sinister. As the pieces began to align, Eliza's determination solidified. The path to the truth was fraught with deception, but she was resolute. Each clue, each confidant brought her closer to unraveling the enigma surrounding Victor's death, propelling her deeper into the shadows of high society intrigue. Detective Eliza Sinclair stepped out of her car, the gravel crunching underfoot as she approached the imposing Harlequin estate. The mansion, with its ivy-clad walls and weathered stone facade, spoke of a bygone era of opulence, now tinged with an aura of melancholy. As she ascended the steps, the heavy oak door creaked open to reveal Mrs. Margaret Harlequin, a woman whose elegance was overshadowed by the grief etched into her features. Inside, the drawing room was dimly lit, the air perfumed with the scent of old leather and polished wood. Portraits of Victor Harlequin adorned the walls, capturing his charismatic smile, yet the eyes seemed to follow Eliza, as if guarding secrets even in death. Margaret gestured for Eliza to sit, her movements graceful despite the heaviness of loss. "Thank you for seeing me, Mrs. Harlequin," Eliza began, her voice soft yet authoritative. "I understand this is a difficult time, but your insights could be invaluable in understanding what happened to your husband." Margaret nodded, her gaze momentarily drifting to a portrait of Victor. Victor was complicated, she admitted, her voice carrying a hint of bitterness. "Our marriage was not as it appeared to outsiders. It was a performance, a facade of glamour that hid a multitude of sins." Eliza listened intently, noting the subtle tension in Margaret's posture. "Can you tell me more about these complications?" Margaret sighed, her fingers nervously tracing the floral pattern on the armrest. "Victor was secretive, always disappearing for days without explanation. He had a way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room, yet he was always somewhere else entirely." Her eyes met Eliza's, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her composed exterior. "I often wondered if there were other lives he led that I knew nothing about." As Margaret spoke, Eliza's keen observation skills came to the fore. She noticed the widow's fleeting glance towards a locked cabinet across the room, a detail that piqued her curiosity. "Did you ever confront him about these absences?" "Many times," Margaret replied, her voice tinged with frustration. "Our last argument was particularly heated. He accused me of betrayal, of conspiring against him. It was absurd, but it left me questioning if his paranoia was a reflection of his own guilt." Eliza leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Betrayal? Did he ever mention what he thought you had done?" Margaret shook her head, her expression one of resigned confusion. "No, it was as if he was speaking in riddles, dancing around the truth without ever revealing it." The conversation shifted as Eliza subtly steered it towards Victor's business dealings. "Mrs. Harlequin, did Victor ever discuss his work with you, particularly his partnership with Mr. Langley?" The mention of Langley caused a visible reaction. Margaret's poise faltered, her fingers tightening around the armrest. "Langley, he was not to be trusted, a man of dubious character, always lurking in the shadows of Victor's affairs." Her voice wavered, betraying a deeper unease. "Did Victor share any concerns about Langley's loyalty?" Eliza pressed, sensing a potential lead. "Not directly," Margaret admitted, "but he often alluded to feeling trapped, as if Langley held some power over him." Eliza made a mental note of this revelation, aware that it added a new layer of complexity to the investigation. The possibility of an alliance between Margaret and Langley, forged out of necessity or desperation, loomed large in her mind. As their conversation drew to a close, Eliza couldn't shake the feeling that Margaret was holding back. The widow's secrets, though partially unveiled, remained shrouded in ambiguity. Eliza rose to leave, her resolve to delve deeper into the Harlequin mystery, stronger than ever. "Thank you for your time, Mrs. Harlequin," Eliza said, offering a reassuring smile. "I'll be in touch if I have further questions." Margaret nodded, her expression a mix of relief and apprehension. "Please, detective, find out what really happened to Victor. He may have been many things, but he didn't deserve to die like this." As Eliza exited the mansion, the cool evening air wrapped around her like a cloak. She paused on the steps, reflecting on the intricacies of human relationships and the lengths to which individuals would go to protect their secrets. Margaret's revelations were a pivotal piece of the puzzle, yet Eliza knew there was more to uncover. The next logical step was to explore Victor's study, a place that might hold the answers she sought. The study was rumored to be a treasure trove of Victor's private thoughts and business dealings, and Eliza was determined to sift through its contents with a fine-toothed comb. As she drove away from the Harlequin estate, the shadows of the past seemed to follow her, whispering of hidden truths and concealed motives. The road ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but Eliza's determination to uncover the truth was unwavering. She was ready to face whatever secrets lay buried in the heart of the Harlequin mystery. Back at her office, Eliza reviewed her notes, piecing together the fragmented information she had gathered. Margaret's account of her marriage to Victor painted a picture of a man who thrived on manipulation, a master of deception who wielded charm as a weapon. But what of Langley? His role in this tangled web was still unclear, and Eliza knew she needed to confront him directly. Imagine you're navigating a maze, each turn revealing a new path, yet the exit remains elusive. This was Eliza's predicament, each clue leading her deeper into the labyrinthine mystery of Victor Harlequin's life and death. The effectiveness of Eliza's methodical approach was notable. By meticulously examining each piece of evidence, she hoped to illuminate the truth hidden in the shadows. Her next move would be critical, a step towards unraveling the enigma of Victor's demise. As night fell, Eliza's thoughts returned to Margaret's parting words. The widow's plea for justice echoed in her mind, a reminder of the moral complexities that often accompanied the pursuit of truth. In the world of high society, where appearances could be deceiving, Eliza knew that every shadow could harbor a new revelation. The journey ahead promised to be as challenging as it was intriguing, but Eliza was prepared to face whatever lay in the shadows. With each step, she moved closer to the heart of the mystery, driven by a relentless quest for justice and the hope of bringing light to the darkest corners of the Harlequin legacy. The Gala was a spectacle of opulence, a dazzling display of wealth and status that masked the darker undercurrents swirling beneath the surface. Detective Eliza Sinclair, cloaked in the guise of an elegant socialite, moved effortlessly through the crowd, her eyes keenly observing the interactions around her. The grand ballroom, with its glittering chandeliers and soft strains of a string quartet, provided the perfect backdrop for secrets to be both concealed and uncovered. Amidst the laughter and clinking of champagne flutes, Eliza's attention was drawn to Mr. Langley, Victor Harlequin's business partner. He stood apart from the crowd, his demeanor betraying a subtle unease. Langley's nervous glances darted around the room, and he seemed to avoid certain guests with a deliberate intent that piqued Eliza's curiosity. It was as if he was a man with something to hide, and Eliza's instincts told her that whatever Langley was concealing was crucial to unraveling the mystery of Victor's death. As the evening progressed, Eliza orchestrated a private interview with Langley, retreating to the dimly lit study that once belonged to the late Victor. The room was steeped in Victor's presence, the heavy scent of leather-bound books mingling with the faint aroma of cigar smoke. Eliza, maintaining her socialite persona, engaged Langley with charm and wit, easing him into a false sense of security. However, as the conversation unfolded, Langley's evasions became increasingly apparent. When Eliza inquired about the nature of his financial dealings with Victor, Langley hesitated, his eyes flitting to the shadows as if searching for an escape route. His discomfort was palpable, a clear indication that the topic struck a nerve. Eliza, ever the astute detective, maneuvered the conversation toward the mysterious ledger that had been discovered among Victor's belongings. The mere mention of the ledger elicited a visceral reaction from Langley. His face blanched, and he fumbled with his tie, a physical manifestation of his inner turmoil. This moment was pivotal, confirming Eliza's suspicion that the ledger held secrets Langley desperately wished to keep hidden. As the interview progressed, Eliza's determination to uncover the truth intensified. She pressed Langley about his whereabouts on the night of Victor's death, carefully noting the inconsistencies in his story. Langley, feeling cornered, attempted to deflect suspicion by implicating others. He mentioned the widow's alleged affair and the artist's potential motives. Yet Eliza saw through his attempts to mislead her, recognizing them as desperate diversions. The emotional tension in the study reached its peak when Langley, realizing he was under Eliza's scrutiny, became defensive. His voice rose, accusing her of prying into matters beyond her concern. This outburst only served to strengthen Eliza's resolve. She remained calm and collected, her intellect and intuition guiding her through the tangled web of deceit. As Eliza left the study, her mind was racing with the implications of Langley's evasions. She reflected on the intricate tapestry of lies and deception, understanding that each interaction brought her closer to the truth. Stepping back into the bustling Gala, the contrast between the opulent setting and the dark undercurrents she was uncovering was stark. The grandeur of the evening seemed almost farcical against the backdrop of intrigue and betrayal. This encounter with Langley was crucial, deepening the mystery surrounding Victor's death and the ledger's significance. It highlighted Eliza's skill as a detective, her ability to read people and situations with precision, and set the stage for future confrontations with Langley. The emotional journey was one of growing tension and determination, with Eliza's resolve to seek justice for Victor becoming more pronounced. In the days that followed, Eliza's investigation took on a new urgency. The Gala had provided a wealth of information, but it was Langley's evasions that propelled her forward. She understood that the ledger was a key piece of the puzzle, and Langley's reaction to its mention suggested that it contained secrets that could unravel the entire case. Eliza returned to Victor's study, poring over the ledger with meticulous care. The cryptic entries and coded messages were a challenge, but Eliza's sharp intellect and attention to detail allowed her to piece together a narrative that pointed to financial dealings of a dubious nature. The ledger hinted at a hidden fortune, and Eliza suspected that Langley's involvement was deeper than he had admitted. Determined to uncover the truth, Eliza sought out those who might shed light on Langley's activities. She spoke with Victor's former associates, piecing together a picture of a man who was both shrewd and secretive. Langley's reputation as a businessman was impeccable on the surface, but whispers of underhanded dealings and questionable alliances suggested a more complex reality. As Eliza delved deeper into Langley's world, she discovered a network of connections that extended far beyond Victor's immediate circle. There were rumors of offshore accounts and shadowy partnerships, each thread leading her closer to the heart of the conspiracy. The more Eliza uncovered, the more she realized that Langley was not acting alone. There were others who stood to gain from Victor's demise. Eliza's investigation was not without its challenges. Langley, aware of her scrutiny, began to take measures to protect himself. He was careful with his words, guarded in his interactions, and always seemed to be one step ahead. Yet, Eliza's persistence and keen insight allowed her to anticipate his moves, staying just within reach of the truth. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, Eliza understood that the stakes were higher than she had initially realized. The ledger was not merely a record of financial transactions. It was a map to a hidden fortune that many were willing to kill for. Langley's evasions were not just about protecting his reputation. They were about securing his future. Eliza's resolve to bring Langley to justice was unwavering. She knew that unraveling the mystery of Victor's death required not only intellect and intuition, but also courage and tenacity. Each step brought her closer to the truth, and with it, the danger increased. Yet, Eliza's commitment to justice and her determination to honor Victor's memory drove her forward, undaunted by the challenges that lay ahead. As the gala drew to a close and the guests began to depart, Eliza stood alone in the grand ballroom, her mind racing with the implications of her discoveries. The opulent setting, once a symbol of wealth and power, now seemed hollow in the face of the deception and betrayal she had uncovered. Yet, amidst the shadows and secrets, Eliza's resolve burned brightly, guiding her toward the truth and the justice that awaited. The grand ballroom of the Harlequin mansion was alive with the soft rustle of silk gowns and the clinking of crystal glasses. It was a scene of opulence, yet beneath the glittering chandeliers, a shadow lingered, a whisper of betrayal that seemed to hang in the air, palpable to those who cared to notice. Among the guests, Detective Eliza Sinclair moved with an elegance that belied her true purpose. Her eyes, sharp and discerning, missed nothing. As the orchestra played a haunting melody, Eliza found herself drawn to a painting on the wall, a vivid portrayal of a harlequin, its eyes holding a secretive glint. The artist, a man of enigmatic presence, stood nearby, his gaze fixed on the canvas with an intensity that suggested a deeper connection. Eliza approached him, her interest piqued by the aura of mystery that surrounded him. "A striking piece," she remarked, her voice carrying a note of genuine admiration. "The eyes seem to follow you wherever you go." The artist, a man named Julian, turned to her with a faint smile. "Art often mirrors the soul, don't you think? It captures truths we might not wish to confront." Eliza nodded, sensing there was more beneath his polished exterior. "And what truths does this harlequin hold, I wonder?" Julian's smile faded, replaced by a flicker of something darker. "Perhaps it's not the harlequin who holds the truth, but those who choose to see it." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Mr. Langley, the deceased Victor Harlequin's business partner. He appeared anxious, his eyes darting around the room as if expecting a specter to emerge from the shadows. Eliza observed him closely, noting the beads of sweat forming on his brow despite the coolness of the evening. "Mr. Langley," Eliza greeted, her tone polite yet probing. "You seem troubled. Is everything all right?" Langley offered a strained smile. "Ah, Detective Sinclair, it's just, these gatherings bring back memories. Victor was a remarkable man, and his absence is keenly felt." Eliza detected the tremor in his voice, the slight hesitation that suggested more than mere nostalgia. Remarkable indeed. His legacy seems to have left quite an impression on all of us. As the evening unfolded, Eliza's attention was drawn to the widow, a woman of striking beauty and poise. Her demeanor was calm, almost detached, as if she were an observer rather than a participant in the unfolding drama. Eliza approached her, curious to understand the dynamics at play. "Mrs. Harlequin," Eliza began, "I can't imagine the weight of tonight's occasion. Victor's legacy is a complex one." The widow nodded, her expression inscrutable. "Victor was a man of many layers, Detective. Unraveling them was a challenge even for those closest to him." Eliza sensed the truth in her words, the hint of a life lived in shadows. And yet, those layers often conceal more than they reveal. "Have you found any solace in the aftermath?" "Solace?" The widow's voice was tinged with irony. "In a world where every glance hides a motive and every smile a secret, solace is a fleeting luxury." As Eliza continued her observations, she couldn't shake the feeling that the artist Julian held a key to the mystery. His demeanor, while outwardly composed, suggested an undercurrent of tension. She decided to delve deeper, seeking to unravel the threads of his connection to Victor. Later, as the guests began to depart and the echoes of laughter faded into the night, Eliza found Julian standing alone on the terrace, the moonlight casting a silver glow on his features. She joined him, her curiosity unabated. "It's a beautiful night," she remarked, her eyes fixed on the stars. "Yet, it seems the beauty is marred by something unseen." Julian's gaze remained on the horizon. "Beauty and betrayal often walk hand in hand, Detective. It's a dance as old as time." Eliza turned to him, her expression thoughtful. "You speak as if from experience. Did Victor's passing leave you with more than just memories?" He hesitated, the silence stretching between them like a taut string. "Victor and I shared a vision, one that was not always understood by others. But visions can be dangerous, especially when they threaten the status quo." Eliza considered his words, the implications weaving a complex tapestry in her mind. And did this vision lead to betrayal, perhaps? Julian met her gaze, his eyes reflecting a myriad of emotions. "Betrayal is a harsh term, Detective. Let's just say that in the world of art, as in life, not everything is as it seems." With that, he turned away, leaving Eliza with more questions than answers. Yet, she sensed she was on the brink of uncovering a truth that lay hidden beneath layers of deception. As she watched the artist disappear into the shadows, she knew that the path to solving Victor Harlequin's death was fraught with twists and turns, each more intricate than the last. As the night wore on, Eliza returned to the mansion's study, a room that seemed to hold its own secrets. The scent of old books and leather filled the air, a comforting yet haunting reminder of the past. She examined the hidden compartment she had discovered earlier, her fingers tracing the edges of the cryptic notes within. Each note was a puzzle, a fragment of a larger picture that seemed just out of reach. Yet, with each piece she uncovered, the image became clearer, a web of connections that tied the suspects to the enigmatic ledger and, ultimately, to Victor's untimely demise. As the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, Eliza's resolve only strengthened. The artist's betrayal, whatever form it took, was a crucial piece of the puzzle, and she was determined to see it through to the end, no matter where the path might lead. In the days that followed, Eliza's investigation intensified. She revisited the widow, probing deeper into the layers of her relationship with Victor. Each conversation revealed new facets of their lives, hinting at secrets kept and promises broken. The widow's calm exterior began to show cracks, revealing glimpses of vulnerability and regret. Meanwhile, Eliza's interactions with Mr. Langley grew more pointed. His evasiveness no longer held sway over her keen instincts. She pressed him on the financial disputes he had hinted at, uncovering a trail of transactions that suggested more than just business disagreements. There was a pattern, a deliberate dance of numbers that seemed to point to something larger, something hidden beneath the surface. Yet it was the artist, Julian, who remained the most elusive. His words, though cryptic, lingered in Eliza's mind, urging her to look beyond the obvious. She knew that his connection to Victor was more than just professional, it was personal, perhaps even intimate. And it was this connection that held the key to understanding the betrayal that had set the wheels of tragedy in motion. Eliza's breakthrough came unexpectedly, during a quiet afternoon spent poring over Victor's personal correspondences. A letter, tucked away in the pages of an old journal, caught her attention. It was addressed to Julian, its tone both affectionate and accusatory. The words spoke of a shared dream, a vision of art that transcended boundaries, yet it also hinted at a rift, a divergence that had led to bitterness and, ultimately, betrayal. Armed with this new insight, Eliza confronted Julian once more, determined to uncover the truth. She found him in his studio, surrounded by canvases that spoke of passion and pain. The air was thick with the scent of turpentine, the colors on his palette vibrant yet subdued. "Julian," she began, her voice steady yet insistent, "I know about the letter, the vision you shared with Victor. But what happened? Why did it all fall apart?" Julian paused, his brush hovering above the canvas. "It was never meant to fall apart, detective. We wanted to change the world, to create something beautiful. But beauty is fragile, easily shattered by greed and ambition." Eliza stepped closer, her eyes searching his. "And did that ambition lead to betrayal? Did it cost Victor his life?" For a moment, Julian seemed lost in thought, his expression a mix of sorrow and resolve. "Betrayal is a complex thing, Eliza. Sometimes it's not about what you do, but what you fail to do. I failed to see the danger until it was too late." With those words, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The artist's betrayal was not one of action, but of omission, a failure to act that had set the stage for tragedy. And as Eliza pieced together the final threads of the mystery, she realized that justice, in this case, was not about punishment, but understanding. As the case drew to a close, Eliza reflected on the journey she had undertaken. The artist's betrayal, like the Harlequin's eyes, had revealed truths that were both painful and enlightening. And as she prepared to move on to her next challenge, she carried with her the knowledge that in the world of high society, where beauty and betrayal danced hand in hand, the truth was a treasure more precious than any art. Chapter 3, Shadows of the Past. The dimly lit archives smelled of old paper and dust, a testament to the secrets they held. Eliza Sinclair, determined and methodical, carefully sifted through the yellowed documents, piecing together a puzzle that had long been buried. Victor Harlequin's past was a tapestry of intrigue, woven with threads of scandal that had once sent ripples through high society. Eliza's intuition was her compass, leading her to a scandal involving Victor that had been whispered about in the corridors of power. It was a tale of betrayal and ambition, where friendships turned into rivalries overnight. She uncovered letters and clippings that hinted at financial improprieties and personal vendettas, each piece adding depth to Victor's enigmatic life. But the breakthrough came when Eliza tracked down a former associate of Victor's, a man whose life had been equally touched by the shadows of the past. Over coffee in a quiet corner cafe, he spoke of alliances that had soured and enemies who had lingered in the background, waiting for their moment. His insights were invaluable, shedding light on Victor's dealings and the intricate web of relationships he navigated. As Eliza connected the dots, a chilling realization dawned upon her. The ledger, which had seemed a mere curiosity, now appeared to be the key to understanding Victor's demise. The stakes were higher than ever, and the line between ally and adversary blurred in the shadows of the past. Eliza knew that to solve this mystery, she had to delve deeper into the events that had shaped Victor's life, for therein lay the secrets he had kept hidden from the world. The grand ballroom was alive with the clinking of crystal glasses and the murmur of hushed conversations. The lavish gala at Victor Harlequin's mansion was meant to be a celebration, but under the glittering chandeliers, a shadow loomed. The recent death of the esteemed Victor had sent shockwaves through the circles of high society, and tonight the air was thick with speculation. Detective Eliza Sinclair, disguised as a socialite, navigated through the throng of guests with practiced ease. Her eyes, sharp and observant, took in every detail. The nervous glance exchanged between the widow and the business partner, the artist's aloof demeanor as he stood apart from the crowd. Each interaction was a potential clue, a thread that might unravel the tangled web of deceit surrounding Victor's demise. As the evening unfolded, a mysterious ledger was discovered among Victor's belongings, its pages filled with cryptic notes and figures. This discovery sparked a flurry of intrigue, drawing Eliza deeper into the heart of the mystery. The ledger was not just a record of financial transactions. It was a key to understanding the complex network of relationships and rivalries that Victor had woven around himself. Eliza's investigation began with the widow, a woman of poise and grace who wore her grief like a well-tailored garment. In a private corner of the mansion, away from prying eyes, the widow spoke of Victor's secretive nature, hinting at affairs of the heart and mind that were as concealed as the hidden compartments in his study. Her revelations painted a portrait of a man who was both revered and reviled, whose public persona masked a labyrinth of hidden motives. Next, Eliza turned her attention to Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner, whose demeanor was a study in contrasts. Nervous yet evasive, cooperative yet withholding. In their conversation, Eliza sensed an undercurrent of tension, a reluctance to reveal the true nature of his dealings with Victor. The ledger, with its enigmatic entries, seemed to hold secrets that Langley was desperate to keep buried. The artist, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue, offered a different perspective. His relationship with Victor was marked by a past betrayal, a wound that had never fully healed. As Eliza listened, she pieced together the fragments of a motive, a reason for the artist to wish Victor harm. Yet, like the brushstrokes of a masterpiece, the truth was layered and complex, requiring careful examination to discern its true form. In the days that followed, Eliza delved into Victor's history, uncovering a scandal that had once rocked high society. She pored over archives and old newspapers, piecing together the connections and rivalries that had defined Victor's life. A former associate provided insight into Victor's dealings and enemies, shedding light on the darker aspects of his character. As Eliza's investigation gained momentum, the web of suspicion tightened around Mr. Langley. Confronted with evidence of financial disputes with Victor, Langley admitted to tensions that had simmered beneath the surface. Meanwhile, the widow's revelation of a secret affair added another layer of complexity to the case, complicating the relationships and motives at play. Eliza's breakthrough came when she deciphered a code in the ledger, revealing a hidden fortune that was the key to understanding the true motive behind Victor's death. The artist's alibi, once seemingly airtight, began to crumble under scrutiny, raising further suspicion and drawing Eliza closer to the truth. Determined to unearth the full extent of the deception, Eliza staged a reenactment of the night of Victor's death. As the suspects gathered, tensions rose and secrets were exposed, shifting alliances and revealing hidden truths. A crucial clue emerged, connecting the ledger to a larger conspiracy that had ensnared Victor and those around him. Eliza faced a moral dilemma as she uncovered the truth, the line between justice and vengeance blurring in the face of the revelations. Yet, her resolve remained unshaken, driven by a commitment to uncovering the truth and bringing those responsible to justice. In a dramatic confrontation, Eliza gathered all the suspects, revealing the true motive and identifying the murderer. The confrontation escalated, leading to a dramatic confession that laid bare the depths of deceit and betrayal that had led to Victor's untimely demise. With justice served, Eliza reflected on the cost of uncovering the truth, the toll it had taken on both her and those involved. The resolution of the case brought closure, yet left lingering questions about the complexities of justice and the moral ambiguities that arise in its pursuit. As the dust settled, Eliza contemplated her journey, the lessons learned, and the future that lay ahead. The case had tested her intellect and resolve, challenging her to question assumptions and piece together the mystery from the clues scattered throughout the narrative. The story concluded with a hint of future adventures for Eliza, a new case waiting in the wings, promising another journey into the shadowy world of high society and hidden motives. The final twist revealed an unexpected connection to another mystery, setting the stage for Eliza's next investigation and leaving readers eager for more. The city archives stood like a grand old dame at the end of a cobblestone street, its grandeur slightly faded, but still commanding respect. As Eliza Sinclair pushed open the heavy oak doors, the scent of aged paper and dust enveloped her, a testament to the centuries of secrets housed within. This was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the past whispered its tales to those willing to listen. Eliza's heart quickened with the thrill of discovery as she navigated the labyrinthine aisles lined with leather-bound tomes. Her mission was clear: uncover the truth behind Victor Harlequin's tangled web of rivalries and alliances, a task that had become increasingly urgent with each revelation. She settled at a wooden table, its surface worn smooth by the hands of countless researchers before her, and began to sift through a stack of brittle newspapers and personal correspondences. It wasn't long before she stumbled upon a series of articles chronicling a scandal that had once rocked the city's elite. Victor Harlequin, a name synonymous with power and influence, had been embroiled in a bitter rivalry with a prominent figure now deceased. The scandal had not only tarnished Victor's reputation, but had also left a lingering shadow over his legacy. The deceased rival's family, still influential, held the key to understanding the full extent of this enmity. Eliza's fingers traced the faded ink of a particularly damning letter, a correspondence that hinted at betrayal and ambition. It painted a picture of Victor as a man who had deftly navigated the treacherous waters of high society, forming alliances that were as strategic as they were precarious. This discovery was a turning point, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of the connections that had sustained Victor's empire. The next step in Eliza's investigation led her to a secluded garden party, a stark contrast to the dusty archives. Hosted by Lady Agatha, one of Victor's former associates, the garden was a tapestry of vibrant blooms and manicured hedges. Beneath the veneer of elegance, however, lay an undercurrent of tension, an unspoken acknowledgement of the secrets each guest harbored. Eliza moved through the gathering with practiced ease, her keen eyes observing the subtle shifts in posture and tone that revealed more than words ever could. Lady Agatha, with her sharp wit and even sharper secrets, was a formidable presence. As Eliza engaged her in conversation, she skillfully extracted snippets of information about Victor's past dealings. Lady Agatha, though initially reluctant, eventually hinted at a betrayal, a pivotal moment that might have catalyzed Victor's eventual downfall. This revelation was a piece of the puzzle that Eliza had been searching for. It confirmed her suspicion that Victor's alliances were as fragile as they were influential, a house of cards waiting for the slightest breeze to topple it. As she pieced together these historical threads, a pattern began to emerge, a pattern that mirrored the dynamics of the current suspects in Victor's death. Eliza's intuition told her that these past alliances held the key to understanding the motives behind the murder. The narrative tension heightened as her investigation began to unsettle the fragile balance among the surviving members of Victor's circle. Cracks appeared in their polished facades, revealing the true nature of their relationships. The crescendo of this subchapter arrived with a clandestine meeting that Eliza had arranged with a shadowy figure from Victor's past. The setting was a dimly lit study, the air thick with the scent of tobacco and intrigue. The figure, cloaked in secrecy, offered a cryptic warning about the dangers of unearthing long-buried secrets. "Some stones," he cautioned, "are best left unturned." This encounter not only deepened the mystery, but also highlighted the personal stakes for Eliza. She realized the potential consequences of her relentless pursuit of truth, the danger that loomed not just for her, but for those entangled in Victor's web. The emotional journey within this subchapter was one of mounting suspense and moral complexity, as Eliza grappled with the implications of her discoveries. As Eliza stood at the brink of a new understanding, her resolve was steeled, but her heart was weighed down by the knowledge that the path to justice was fraught with peril and uncertainty. The shadows of the past began to cast long and ominous silhouettes over the present, serving as a crucial turning point in the narrative. This chapter, rich with revelations, promised to make readers gasp as they witnessed the intricate dance of deception and loyalty. The important thing to remember is that in the world of high society, where alliances are as ephemeral as the evening mist, the truth is often obscured by layers of deceit. Eliza's journey through the archives and the garden party was not just about uncovering the facts, but also about navigating the moral ambiguities that arise when justice is pursued in a world rife with deception. As Eliza prepared to transition into the next phase of her investigation, the stakes were higher than ever. The line between friend and foe continued to blur, and each new discovery brought her closer to unraveling the mystery behind Victor's death. With determination and a keen sense of intuition, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that every clue mattered and nothing was quite as it first appeared. The city library was a sanctuary of silence, the kind that envelops you like a thick fog. Eliza Sinclair moved through the aisles with a purpose, her footsteps muffled by the worn carpet beneath her. The towering shelves loomed above her, each filled with dusty volumes and forgotten records. The air was tinged with the scent of aged paper, a testament to the history contained within these walls. Eliza's eyes scanned the spines of countless books, her fingers brushing against their surfaces as she sought the one thread that could unravel the mystery of Victor Harlequin's death. The ledger she found among his belongings was no ordinary record. It was a puzzle, each entry a piece waiting to be placed in the larger picture of Victor's life and untimely demise. Settling into a corner of the archives, Eliza spread out the documents she had gathered. Her determination was palpable, a force that drove her to sift meticulously through the pages, tracing Victor's past dealings and connections. The dim light from the lamp cast a warm glow over her workspace, illuminating the path she was determined to follow. As she delved deeper into Victor's history, Eliza unearthed a scandal that had once rocked high society. It was a financial debacle involving Victor and a clandestine group of influential figures. The revelation was shocking, suggesting that the ledger might be more than just a record of transactions. It could be the key to a hidden conspiracy that had been carefully concealed for years. The stakes were raised as Eliza realized that understanding the ledger's secrets could expose powerful individuals who had much to lose. Her investigation led her to a former associate of Victor's, a reclusive yet knowledgeable man who once worked closely with him. Their meeting was tense, filled with unspoken tension as the associate reluctantly divulged information about Victor's enemies and the dangerous world he navigated. The encounter provided Eliza with crucial insights into Victor's motivations and the potential threats he faced. It was clear that the ledger was intricately linked to Victor's death, possibly serving as a motive for murder. The emotional journey was intense, as Eliza grappled with the moral complexities of her investigation. Her intuition sharpened, and she began to suspect that the ledger was a catalyst, a spark that ignited a chain of events leading to Victor's demise. Eliza's character was tested throughout this investigation. She balanced the pursuit of justice with the personal risks involved in exposing high-profile secrets. The narrative seamlessly bridged from the previous revelations about Victor's past to the impending confrontations in the next chapter. Her discoveries set the stage for the unraveling of a larger conspiracy. As the shadows of the past loomed ever larger over the present, her resolve was strengthened, and the line between friend and foe blurred, leaving readers on the edge of their seats, eager to uncover the truth alongside her. This subchapter was essential as it deepened the mystery and enriched the plot, providing key revelations that drove the story forward. It highlighted Eliza's growth as a detective, showcasing her intellect and determination while maintaining the storytelling tone that captivated mystery enthusiasts. The careful weaving of historical intrigue and present-day investigation ensured that each event felt inevitable, keeping readers engaged and invested in the narrative's unfolding. The city library, with its dim lighting and the scent of old books, became a character in its own right, setting the atmosphere for Eliza's quest for truth. Her meeting with Victor's former associate was a pivotal moment. The man's reluctance to speak was palpable, his eyes darting around the room as if expecting someone to overhear. Eliza's questions were precise, her demeanor calm yet persistent. She knew the importance of this conversation and the potential it held for unlocking the mystery surrounding Victor's death. As the associate spoke, The pieces began to fall into place. Victor's dealings were more complex than Eliza had anticipated. His connections ran deep, intertwining with the lives of those who wielded power and influence. The ledger was a map, guiding Eliza through a labyrinth of deceit and betrayal. What mattered most was that Eliza's investigation was not just about uncovering the truth behind Victor's death. It was about confronting the moral ambiguities that arose when justice was pursued in a world rife with deceit. Her journey was one of intellect-driven detection, challenging both her and the readers to question their assumptions and piece together the mystery from the clues scattered throughout the narrative. In the end, Eliza's discoveries in the ledger's link set the stage for the unraveling of a larger conspiracy. The shadows of the past loomed ever larger over the present, and her resolve was strengthened. The line between friend and foe blurred, leaving readers on the edge of their seats, eager to uncover the truth alongside her. As she left the library, the weight of the ledger felt heavier in her hands. It was more than just a collection of numbers and names. It was a testament to the tangled web of secrets that Victor had left behind. Eliza knew that the path ahead was fraught with danger, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. Her determination was unwavering, her mind sharp and focused on the task at hand. The ledger's link was the key to unraveling the mystery, and Eliza Sinclair was determined to see it through to the end. Her journey was far from over, but with each revelation, she grew more confident in her ability to uncover the truth and bring justice to those who sought to hide in the shadows. Chapter 4: The Web Tightens. Eliza Sinclair stood in the dimly lit study, her eyes locked on Mr. Langley. The air was thick with tension as he finally confessed, "Victor and I had financial disagreements. It wasn't personal, just business." His admission added a new layer to the already tangled web of relationships surrounding Victor's mysterious death. As Eliza absorbed this revelation, the widow entered, her demeanor shifting from grief to resolve. "I had an affair," she admitted softly, her voice barely above a whisper. This confession further complicated the narrative, adding another motive to the mix. Determined to untangle the truth, Eliza turned her attention to the enigmatic ledger. Hours of meticulous study led her to decipher a hidden code, revealing a clue to a concealed fortune. This discovery intensified the stakes, suggesting that greed might be the catalyst behind the web of deceit. Meanwhile, the artist's previously solid alibi began to crumble. Eliza scrutinized his timeline and found inconsistencies that raised her suspicions. The once clear lines between ally and adversary blurred, tightening the noose around each suspect. Eliza's methodical approach continued to peel back layers of lies and secrets. Her sharp intellect and unwavering resolve brought her closer to the truth, yet the complexity of the motives seemed to grow with every revelation. As she navigated this dangerous game of deception and revelation, the characters' motivations became clearer yet more tangled, echoing the intricate patterns of a spider's web. In this chapter, the stakes have never been higher. Eliza's pursuit of justice is relentless, and the unraveling of each thread in this mystery brings her closer to the heart of the enigma. The room was dimly lit, with shadows cast by the flickering fireplace dancing across the walls. Detective Eliza Sinclair sat across from Mr. Langley, the business partner of the late Victor Harlequin. The air was thick with tension, the kind that only builds when secrets are on the verge of being exposed. Langley, usually composed, was visibly uneasy, his fingers tapping nervously on the armrest of his chair. "Mr. Langley," Eliza began, her voice steady and probing, "you've been evading my questions since the beginning of this investigation. It's time to be honest. What exactly was your relationship with Victor Harlequin?" Langley shifted in his seat, eyes darting to the window, as if seeking an escape from the inevitable. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the distant sound of a clock ticking somewhere in the mansion. Finally he spoke, his voice a strained whisper. "Victor and I, we were more than just business partners. We had a falling out over some financial matters. Things got complicated." Eliza leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Complicated how? Did it involve the ledger we found in Victor's study?" Langley hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, the ledger. It was supposed to be a record of our dealings, but Victor, he was hiding things. Investments, debts, transactions that I knew nothing about. I confronted him, but he brushed it off, said it was under control. The detective's eyes narrowed, sensing there was more to the story. "And did you believe him?" "I wanted to," Langley replied, his voice tinged with regret, "but I couldn't shake the feeling that he was keeping something from me. Something big. That ledger, it holds the key, I'm sure of it." Eliza considered his words, the pieces of the puzzle slowly coming together. Langley's confession added a new layer to the mystery, one that hinted at financial intrigue and betrayal. But could it be enough motive for murder? The detective decided to press further. "You mentioned a falling out. How did that affect your relationship with Victor in the days leading up to his death?" Langley sighed, running a hand through his hair. "We barely spoke. I was angry, frustrated. I felt betrayed by someone I considered a friend, but I never wanted harm to come to him, detective. I swear it." Eliza noted the sincerity in his voice, yet her instincts told her there was more beneath the surface. The ledger, with its cryptic entries and hidden compartments, was a testament to the secrets Victor had taken to his grave, but it also pointed to a broader conspiracy, one that could involve more than just financial disputes. "Mr. Langley, you're aware that Victor's death has been ruled suspicious?" Langley nodded, his expression somber. "Yes, and it's been haunting me ever since. If there's anything I can do to help find the truth, please let me know." Eliza made a mental note of his willingness to cooperate, though she remained cautious. In the world of high society, where alliances shifted like the wind, trust was a rare commodity. Still, Langley's confession was a step forward, a glimpse into the tangled web of relationships and motives that surrounded Victor's demise. As Eliza rose to leave, she paused at the door, turning back to face Langley. "One last thing, Mr. Langley. Do you know if Victor had any enemies? Someone who might have wanted to harm him?" Langley's eyes met hers, and for a moment there was a flicker of something unspoken. "Victor was a complicated man, detective. He had his share of rivals, both in business and personal life. But to think any of them would go so far, it's hard to believe." With that, Eliza left the room, her mind racing with possibilities. Langley's confession had opened new avenues of investigation, yet it also raised more questions than it answered. Who else knew about the ledger, and what secrets did it hold that were worth killing for? Outside, the night was cool and crisp, the stars twinkling overhead like silent witnesses to the unfolding drama. Eliza pulled her coat tighter around her shoulders, her resolve strengthened. The truth was out there, hidden among the shadows of deceit and ambition. She was determined to find it, no matter the cost. As she walked away from Langley's residence, Eliza's thoughts drifted back to the other suspects. The widow, with her secret affair, had motives of her own. The enigmatic artist, whose alibi was as fragile as the canvases he painted, could not be ruled out either. Each of them held a piece of the puzzle, and it was up to Eliza to fit them together. Her next step would be to revisit the ledger, to decipher its coded entries, and uncover the hidden fortune it alluded to. But she knew she couldn't do it alone. She needed allies, confidants who could help her navigate the treacherous waters of high society. Eliza's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. She turned to see her trusted colleague, Inspector James Carter, hurrying to catch up with her. "Eliza," he called out, slightly out of breath, "I've been looking for you. Did you get anything useful from Langley?" Eliza nodded, her expression thoughtful. "He confessed to financial disputes with Victor, and he believes the ledger holds the key to everything. But there's more to it, James. I can feel it." Carter fell into step beside her, his brow furrowed in concentration. "What's our next move, then?" "We need to dig deeper into Victor's past, his connections, and his enemies. And I need your help to crack the code in that ledger. It's the only way we'll get to the bottom of this." Carter nodded, his determination matching hers. "Consider it done. We'll get to the truth, Eliza, one way or another." Together they walked into the night, their footsteps echoing on the cobblestone streets. The investigation was far from over, but with each revelation, they were one step closer to unraveling the mystery that had ensnared them all. As they disappeared into the shadows, the mansion loomed behind them, a silent sentinel guarding its secrets. But Eliza knew that no secret could remain hidden forever. Not when the truth was so tantalizingly close. The grand ballroom of the Harlequin mansion was a spectacle of opulence. every corner whispering tales of wealth and privilege. Crystal chandeliers cast a soft glow over the polished marble floors, where the elite of society mingled, their laughter mingling with the gentle strains of a live orchestra. Yet beneath the veneer of elegance, a palpable tension simmered, an undercurrent of unease that seemed to ripple through the crowd. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood at the periphery, her gaze sweeping over the room with practiced precision. Clad in a gown that whispered sophistication, she played the part of the socialite with ease, her true purpose concealed beneath a mask of charm. Her eyes, sharp and perceptive, lingered on the widow of Victor Harlequin, who stood surrounded by a coterie of sympathetic acquaintances. The widow, a striking woman draped in black, bore the air of someone well versed in the art of concealment, her expression a careful blend of grief and composure. As the evening unfolded, Eliza's attention was drawn to a hushed conversation taking place near a grand fireplace. Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner, was speaking with an intensity that belied his otherwise genial demeanor. His companion, an enigmatic artist known for his reclusive nature, responded with a languid nod, his eyes flickering with a hint of amusement. Eliza made a mental note, her instincts piqued by the subtle exchange. It was during a lull in the festivities that Eliza's opportunity presented itself. The discovery of a mysterious ledger among Victor's belongings had sparked whispers of intrigue, and it was this very item that now lay in her possession, its pages filled with cryptic notations and figures. As she thumbed through the pages, the weight of its significance settled upon her, a tangible reminder of the secrets that lay hidden within the Harlequin legacy. Her investigation began with the widow, a woman whose poised exterior belied a depth of emotion. In the privacy of the study, Eliza broached the subject of Victor's secretive nature, her questions probing yet respectful. The widow's response was measured, her words carefully chosen as she revealed glimpses of a man whose life was shrouded in mystery. Victor was always one to keep his cards close to his chest, she admitted, her gaze distant. Even I was often left in the dark. Eliza's next encounter was with Mr. Langley, whose demeanor had shifted from nervous to evasive. Their conversation, conducted in the shadowed corners of the library, was punctuated by Langley's furtive glances and stilted answers. He spoke of financial disputes with Victor, his tone defensive, yet it was the flicker of fear in his eyes that captured Eliza's attention. There was more to his story, she surmised, than he was willing to divulge. The artist, meanwhile, proved to be a more enigmatic figure. Their meeting took place in a sun-dappled conservatory, the air heavy with the scent of blooming orchids. As they spoke, Eliza sensed an undercurrent of tension, a subtle wariness that belied the artist's languid facade. It was during a moment of unguarded candor that he alluded to a past betrayal, a revelation that sent a ripple of suspicion through Eliza's mind. Her investigation led her to Victor's study, a room steeped in the scent of old books and polished wood. It was here, amidst the dust motes dancing in the afternoon light, that Eliza discovered a hidden compartment within the desk. The compartment, cleverly concealed, contained a collection of cryptic notes, each one a tantalizing piece of the puzzle. As she examined the notes, a pattern began to emerge, a thread that wove through the disparate elements of the case. Intrigued by the potential connection between the ledger and Victor's death, Eliza delved into the archives, piecing together the fragments of Victor's past. Her research uncovered a scandal that had once rocked high society, a tale of ambition, rivalry, and betrayal that seemed eerily relevant to her current investigation. It was a former associate of Victor's who provided the final piece of the puzzle, his recollections shedding light on the intricate web of connections and enmities that surrounded the deceased. With each new revelation, the web of suspicion tightened, drawing Eliza ever closer to the truth. Mr. Langley's admission of financial disputes with Victor added a new dimension to the investigation, casting a shadow over his previous assertions. Yet it was the widow's revelation of a secret affair that truly complicated matters, adding a layer of personal betrayal to the already tangled web of relationships. Determined to decipher the code within the ledger, Eliza devoted herself to the task with a single-minded focus. Her efforts were rewarded when she uncovered a hidden fortune, a discovery that added a new level of complexity to the case. The artist, once a peripheral figure, found his alibi crumbling under the weight of scrutiny, his motives now as suspect as those of the other players in this intricate drama. As the investigation reached a critical juncture, Eliza staged a reenactment of the night of Victor's death, observing the reactions of the assembled suspects with keen interest. The tension in the room was palpable, each participant acutely aware of the stakes involved. It was during this tense confrontation that a crucial clue was revealed, a connection between the ledger and a larger conspiracy that had remained hidden until now. With the pieces of the puzzle falling into place, Eliza faced a moral dilemma, her pursuit of justice complicated by the shades of gray that defined the world she inhabited. Yet her resolve remained unshaken, her commitment to uncovering the truth unwavering in the face of adversity. The final confrontation saw Eliza gather the suspects, her revelations delivered with a calm authority that belied the tension of the moment. The true motive and the identity of the murderer were laid bare, the confrontation escalating into a dramatic confession that left the room in stunned silence. Justice, in the end, was served, yet the cost of uncovering the truth weighed heavily on Eliza's mind. In the aftermath of the case, Eliza found herself reflecting on the complexities of justice, her thoughts tinged with a sense of closure. The resolution of the case brought a measure of peace to those involved, yet the journey had left an indelible mark on all who had participated. As the story drew to a close, a final twist revealed an unexpected connection to another mystery, setting the stage for Eliza's next adventure. The detective, her resolve tempered by experience, prepared to embark on a new investigation, her journey a testament to the enduring allure of mystery and the relentless pursuit of truth. Detective Eliza Sinclair sat in the dimly lit study of Victor Harlequin, the room's opulence a stark contrast to the sinister secrets it harbored. The air was thick with the scent of aged leather and polished wood, and shadows danced across the walls as the flickering light from a nearby lamp played its part in the unfolding drama. Eliza's fingers traced the intricate patterns of the ledger she had found among Victor's possessions, its cryptic symbols and numbers whispering of hidden fortunes and clandestine dealings. Eliza's mind was a flurry of activity, each piece of the puzzle demanding her attention. The ledger was more than just a document. It was a key to unraveling a web of greed and betrayal that had ensnared the suspects in Victor's mysterious death. Her determination was palpable, fueled by a thirst for justice and the thrill of solving a mystery that had eluded so many before her. As she worked to decode the ledger, Eliza's thoughts drifted to the flashbacks of Victor's life, each memory a brushstroke in the painting of deceit. She recalled the widow's whispered confessions of a secret affair, the way Mr. Langley's eyes darted nervously when confronted about financial disputes, and the artist's crumbling alibi that seemed to unravel with each question posed. These revelations tightened the noose around the guilty party, each piece of evidence a step closer to the truth. The tension escalated as Eliza uncovered a hidden pattern within the ledger, linking it to a series of offshore accounts. The realization hit her like a cold wave. Victor's death was not a mere crime of passion, but a calculated move in a high-stakes game of deception. The ledger's secrets pointed to a conspiracy far larger than she had initially imagined, implicating individuals who would go to great lengths to protect their interests. In a moment of introspection, Eliza grappled with the moral implications of her discoveries. The contents of the ledger had the potential to destroy reputations and lives, yet withholding the truth would mean justice remained elusive. This internal conflict added depth to her character, showcasing her growth from a determined investigator to a contemplative seeker of truth. With her findings in hand, Eliza resolved to confront the suspects. She knew that revealing the truth would provoke a reaction, potentially leading to the unraveling of the conspiracy. Her mind was set as she prepared for the confrontation, the narrative seamlessly transitioning to the next chapter, maintaining the story's momentum and leaving readers eager to witness the unfolding drama. Eliza Sinclair's journey in this chapter is a masterclass in intellect-driven detection, where every clue is a stepping stone toward the truth. Her analytical prowess and unwavering resolve guide her through the labyrinth of deceit, ensuring that readers remain captivated by the twists and turns of this classic crime narrative. As Eliza delved deeper into the ledger, she realized that each symbol and number was a piece of a complex puzzle. The ledger was not just a record of financial transactions. It was a map leading to a hidden fortune that had tempted many into a web of greed. Her methodical approach to decoding the symbols was akin to a maestro conducting an orchestra, each note resonating with the promise of revelation. The room was silent, except for the soft rustle of paper and the occasional creak of floorboards as Eliza moved about, her concentration unwavering. She was aware that time was of the essence. The longer the truth remained hidden, the greater the risk of the guilty party covering their tracks. Her mind raced through the possibilities, each potential outcome weighed with the precision of a seasoned detective. Eliza's thoughts returned to the suspects, each with their own motives and secrets. The widow's affair with Victor, once a whispered rumor, now seemed a crucial piece of the puzzle. Mr. Langley's financial disputes with Victor added another layer of complexity, while the artist's shaky alibi suggested a deeper involvement than initially suspected. Each suspect was a thread in the tapestry of deceit, and Eliza was determined to unravel it. The important thing to remember, Eliza mused, was that the ledger's secrets were not confined to the pages she held. They extended into the lives of those around Victor, each interaction and transaction a clue to his untimely demise. Her resolve strengthened with each discovery, her path illuminated by the light of truth. As Eliza pieced together the connections between the ledger and the offshore accounts, she understood the magnitude of the conspiracy she was uncovering. It was a network of deception that reached far beyond Victor's immediate circle, implicating individuals in positions of power and influence. The stakes were high, and Eliza knew that her next move would be crucial in bringing the truth to light. The next step involved confronting the suspects with her findings. Eliza knew that the truth would not be easily accepted, and the confrontation could lead to unexpected consequences. Yet, she was prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, her determination unshaken by the potential risks. Eliza's journey in decoding the ledger was not just about solving a mystery. It was about seeking justice in a world where deception was the currency of the elite. Her intellect and intuition guided her through the maze of clues, each discovery bringing her closer to the truth. The chapter concluded with Eliza poised for the confrontation, her resolve unwavering as she prepared to reveal the secrets hidden within the ledger. For readers, Eliza Sinclair's investigation in this chapter offers a glimpse into the mind of a detective, driven by a passion for truth and justice. Her journey is a testament to the power of intellect and determination in the face of adversity, ensuring that the narrative remains compelling and engaging. As the story unfolds, the themes of deception and justice are intricately woven into the narrative, challenging both the characters and the readers to question their assumptions and piece together the mystery from the clues scattered throughout the tale. The ledger, once a mere document, becomes a symbol of the hidden truths that lie beneath the surface of high society, a reminder that nothing is quite as it first appears. In the world of the Harlequin Ledger, every clue matters, and every revelation brings the characters closer to the truth. Eliza Sinclair's journey is a masterclass in intellect-driven detection, where the stakes are high and the outcome is uncertain. Her determination to uncover the truth, despite the risks, ensures that readers remain captivated by the twists and turns of this classic crime narrative. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood at the threshold of Julian Mercer's art studio, a space that seemed to pulse with the chaotic energy of its creator. The room was a tapestry of color and form, with canvases leaning against every available surface and sculptures jutting from corners like sentinels of Julian's tumultuous mind. The air was thick with the scent of turpentine and the unspoken tension that had settled between the artist and the detective. Julian Mercer, a man whose reputation was as enigmatic as his art, greeted Eliza with a distracted nod. His eyes, usually alive with creative fervor, darted nervously, betraying a mind at odds with itself. Eliza, with her keen intuition and sharp wit, sensed the undercurrents of unease that Julian tried to mask with polite conversation. "Thank you for seeing me, Mr. Mercer," Eliza began, her voice steady yet probing. I understand you were working late the night Victor Harlequin died. Can you tell me more about that? Julian hesitated, his fingers tracing the edge of a nearby canvas. I was here, working on a commissioned piece, he replied, his tone carefully measured. Yet Eliza noted the flicker of uncertainty that crossed his features, a telltale sign that his alibi might not hold under scrutiny. As their conversation unfolded, Eliza's eyes roamed the studio, taking in the riot of colors and forms that seemed to echo Julian's inner turmoil. Amongst the abstract chaos, she noticed a series of sketches tucked discreetly behind a larger canvas. These sketches, unlike the others, were intimate portraits of Victor Harlequin, capturing him in various settings with an attention to detail that suggested more than a passing acquaintance. These are quite striking, Eliza remarked, gesturing towards the drawings. You knew Victor well, then? Julian's composure faltered, and he reluctantly admitted, We knew each other socially. He was fascinated by my work, but our relationship was strictly professional. Eliza, unconvinced, pressed further. And yet, these sketches suggest a deeper connection. Were you at the gala that night? Julian's eyes narrowed, a defensive edge creeping into his voice. I wasn't. I told you, I was here. However, Eliza had already uncovered a thread that threatened to unravel Julian's carefully constructed alibi. A fellow artist who shared the studio space had mentioned seeing Julian leave in a hurry on the night in question. This revelation added a new layer of complexity to the investigation, casting doubt on Julian's claims. A witness places you leaving the studio that night, Eliza stated, her gaze unwavering. Why would they say that if it weren't true? Cornered, Julian's veneer of calm began to crack. All right, I was at the gala, he confessed, his voice tinged with resignation. Victor and I had a disagreement, but I left before anything happened. The admission was a turning point in Eliza's investigation. It suggested a motive, a personal conflict that might have escalated to murder. Yet, despite Julian's insistence on his innocence, Eliza sensed there was more to uncover. As she pieced together the implications of Julian's confession, Eliza's mind returned to the mysterious ledger found among Victor's belongings. The sketches, the argument, and the hidden fortune mentioned in the ledger all pointed to a tangled web of motives and deceit. Keep in mind that art often reveals truths we try to hide, Eliza mused, considering the possibility that Julian's work might hold further clues. Could the abstract forms and vivid colors conceal secrets about Victor's death? The tension in the studio was palpable as Eliza prepared to confront the other suspects with her new findings. Each revelation brought her closer to the truth, yet the complexity of the case weighed heavily on her. The stakes were high, and the line between guilt and innocence was as blurred as the brushstrokes on Julian's canvases. As the subchapter drew to a close, Eliza reflected on the tangled motives and hidden truths that defined the investigation. The artist's alibi, once seemingly solid, had crumbled under the weight of evidence and intuition. But as Eliza knew all too well, in the shadowy world of high society, nothing was ever quite as it appeared. With a renewed sense of purpose, Eliza prepared to delve deeper into the mystery, knowing that each step brought her closer to uncovering the truth behind Victor Harlequin's death. The stage was set for the next chapter, where her methodical approach would continue to unravel the intricate web of deception surrounding the case. Chapter 5: Deception and Revelation. As the clock struck midnight, the grand hall of Victor Harlequin's mansion transformed into a theater of intrigue. Eliza Sinclair, poised yet vigilant, orchestrated a reenactment of the fateful night. The dim glow of chandeliers cast long shadows, mirroring the secrets each suspect harbored. Eliza's sharp gaze flitted from one face to another, each reaction a potential revelation. The widow, a picture of composed grief, flinched at the mention of Victor's clandestine affairs. Mr. Langley, the business partner, shifted uncomfortably, his eyes betraying a flicker of fear. The enigmatic artist, usually aloof, leaned forward with an intensity that spoke volumes. Eliza knew she was close. The tension was palpable, electrifying the air. As accusations flew, alliances crumbled like brittle parchment. Secrets, long buried, surfaced with a force that left the room breathless. In the midst of this chaos, Eliza unveiled a crucial clue, a ledger entry linking Victor to a network of corruption. The realization dawned. This was no isolated incident, but a thread in a vast tapestry of deceit. Yet, with truth came a moral quandary. Eliza grappled with the implications of her findings. Could justice prevail without compromising her integrity? The cost of truth weighed heavily, challenging her convictions. In this world of shadows, where deception reigned and justice wavered, Eliza's resolve was tested like never before. Think of it this way. Every piece of the puzzle, every reaction, was a step closer to unraveling the mystery. As the night drew to a close, Eliza stood at the precipice of revelation, ready to confront the truths that would reshape her understanding of justice in a world built on lies. The grand ballroom of the Harlequin mansion was a tapestry of shadows and whispers as the evening deepened. Setting the stage for a reenactment that promised to unravel the night, Victor Harlequin met his untimely demise. Detective Eliza Sinclair, poised and perceptive, stood at the center of this orchestrated scene, her presence a blend of authority and intrigue. The air was thick with anticipation, each breath measured as the key suspects gathered under the dim glow of chandeliers that cast long, flickering shadows across the polished floor. Eliza, embodying her dual role as both investigator and socialite, had meticulously planned this reenactment. She knew that to solve the mystery, she needed to recreate the night in question with precision and insight. The suspects, a motley assembly of high society's enigmatic figures, were acutely aware that their secrets were on the brink of exposure. Among them stood the grieving widow, her composure a fragile mask, Mr. Langley, whose nervous energy seemed barely contained, and the elusive artist, whose aloof demeanor suggested both defiance and intrigue. As Eliza began to reconstruct the timeline of events, she guided each participant to their positions as they were on the fateful night. Her gaze, sharp and discerning, swept over the room, noting the subtle shifts in body language, the unspoken tensions that crackled like static in the air. The widow, maintaining her veneer of composure, cast furtive glances at Mr. Langley, whose jittery movements betrayed a simmering anxiety. Meanwhile, the artist stood apart, his eyes betraying a flicker of defiance as he observed the proceedings with a detached curiosity. Eliza's probing questions were like a scalpel, cutting through the layers of deception that cloaked each suspect. She forced them to relive their actions and interactions, peeling back the facade each had constructed. The widow's stoic mask began to slip, revealing a vulnerability that hinted at deeper entanglements. Mr. Langley, under the weight of Eliza's scrutiny, stumbled over his words, inadvertently revealing inconsistencies in his story. The artist, whose alibi had seemed unassailable, faltered as Eliza connected him to a past betrayal involving Victor and the widow. A pivotal moment arrived when Eliza introduced a new piece of evidence, a previously undisclosed letter from Victor, found tucked within the ledger. The letter alluded to a clandestine meeting on the night of his death, casting a shadow of suspicion over all present. The revelation sent ripples through the group, alliances shifting as each suspect recalibrated their stance. The artist, once confident in his detachment, now found himself ensnared in a web of his own making. The tension in the ballroom crescendoed as Eliza revealed a crucial clue, a coded message within the ledger that tied Victor's death to a larger conspiracy involving financial deceit and betrayal. The suspects, now caught in a web of their own making, reacted with a mix of anger, fear, and desperation. Eliza, faced with the moral dilemma of whether to pursue justice at any cost, reflected on the personal sacrifices made in the pursuit of truth. The reenactment, while exposing the tangled web of deceit, also forced Eliza to confront the complexities of justice in a world where truth is often obscured by shadows. As the subchapter concluded, Eliza stood at the center of the ballroom, the weight of her revelations settling heavily upon her shoulders. The reenactment had not only brought her closer to unraveling the mystery, but had also laid bare the emotional and ethical challenges that lay ahead. This pivotal scene set the stage for the dramatic confrontations and revelations that would follow, driving the narrative toward its inevitable climax. The ballroom, once a place of opulent celebration, had become a crucible of truth, where the heat of scrutiny melted away the gilded facades of high society, revealing the raw, unvarnished reality beneath. For Eliza, the evening's reenactment was more than just a procedural necessity. It was a testament to her unwavering resolve to seek justice, no matter the cost. Each question she posed, each piece of evidence she unveiled, was a step closer to the truth, a truth that promised to reshape the lives of everyone involved. As she prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead, Eliza knew that the path to justice was fraught with peril, but it was a path she was determined to walk, guided by the light of her own integrity and the unwavering belief that, in the end, the truth would prevail. As the clock struck midnight, the grand ballroom of the Harlequin estate was alive with the soft hum of whispered conversations and the clinking of crystal glasses. The opulence of the surroundings was almost overwhelming, with chandeliers casting a warm glow over the polished marble floors and velvet drapes framing the tall windows. The air was thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that seemed to dance along with the guests. In a corner, Detective Eliza Sinclair, elegantly disguised as a socialite, observed the scene with keen eyes. Eliza had learned early in her career that the most significant revelations often arose in moments of apparent calm. The gala was a perfect stage, where alliances were forged and broken with a mere glance. Tonight, she was not just a guest. She was a hunter, sifting through the layers of charm and deceit to uncover the truth behind Victor Harlequin's untimely death. The evening's conversations were a delicate dance, each step carefully measured. As Eliza maneuvered through the crowd, she noted the subtle shifts in demeanor when Victor's name was mentioned. The widow, draped in mourning black, maintained a facade of grief, yet her eyes flickered with something more. Was it fear, or perhaps relief? Nearby, Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner, appeared distracted, his laughter too loud, his gaze darting nervously around the room. Eliza's attention was drawn to the enigmatic artist, who was surrounded by admirers, his words flowing like honey, yet his eyes remained distant, as if his mind was elsewhere. A careful observer, Eliza recognized the signs of a man with secrets to hide. It was in these subtle interactions that the truth lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered. As the night wore on, Eliza's instincts led her to a secluded study, where the air was thick with the scent of aged leather and tobacco. Here Victor's presence lingered, his life and secrets etched into the very walls. It was in this room that Eliza discovered a hidden compartment, a small but telling detail that had eluded others. Inside, she found cryptic notes, their meaning obscured by layers of code. The notes were a testament to Victor's secretive nature, a puzzle that beckoned Eliza deeper into the mystery. Returning to the ballroom, Eliza's mind raced with possibilities. Each suspect had their own motives, their own secrets. The widow's sorrow seemed genuine, yet there was a hardness to her that suggested she was no stranger to deceit. Mr. Langley's nervousness hinted at financial troubles, perhaps disputes with Victor that had spiraled out of control. And then there was the artist, whose charm masked a potential betrayal from the past. As Eliza pieced together the fragments of Victor's life, she realized that the ledger found among his belongings was more than just a record of transactions. It was a key, a map to a hidden fortune that had the power to shift alliances and unravel relationships. The stakes were higher than she had anticipated, and the line between friend and foe was becoming increasingly blurred. The following day, Eliza visited the archives, her mind focused on uncovering the scandal that had once rocked high society. The dusty records revealed a network of connections, rivalries, and betrayals that painted a complex picture of Victor's past. A former associate, now a recluse, provided insights into Victor's dealings, confirming Eliza's suspicions that the ledger was central to understanding his death. With each revelation, the web of deceit tightened. Eliza confronted Mr. Langley, whose facade crumbled under her relentless questioning. He admitted to financial disputes with Victor, disputes that had threatened to destroy his reputation. Meanwhile, the widow, in a moment of vulnerability, confessed to a secret affair, adding another layer of complexity to the already tangled relationships. As Eliza deciphered the code within the ledger, she uncovered clues pointing to a larger conspiracy, one that extended beyond Victor's immediate circle. The artist, once confident in his alibi, began to falter under scrutiny, his stories unraveling to reveal inconsistencies that could not be ignored. Determined to bring the truth to light, Eliza staged a reenactment of the night of Victor's death, observing the reactions of those involved. It was a bold move, but necessary to expose the shifting alliances and hidden motives. As tensions rose, secrets were laid bare, and the true nature of those around her was revealed. The final confrontation was inevitable. Eliza gathered all the suspects, her voice steady as she laid out the evidence, piece by piece. The room was silent, the air charged with anticipation as the true motive and murderer were unveiled. The confession, when it came, was dramatic, a culmination of deceit and desperation. Justice was served, but as the dust settled, Eliza was left to reflect on the cost of uncovering the truth. The case had brought closure, yet it also left her contemplating the moral ambiguities of justice in a world where deceit was often rewarded. In the aftermath, as the characters found their resolutions, Eliza pondered her journey. The complexities of justice and the pursuit of truth had tested her resolve, yet she emerged with a deeper understanding of the world she navigated. As she prepared for her next adventure, a final twist revealed an unexpected connection to another mystery, setting the stage for future investigations. The Harlequin Ledger closed with a promise of more to come, a testament to the enduring allure of mystery and the relentless pursuit of truth. In a world where every clue mattered and nothing was as it seemed, Eliza Sinclair stood as a beacon of intellect and intuition, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The opulent ballroom was a place where whispers of grandeur once filled the air, but tonight it was transformed into a stage for unveiling hidden truths. Eliza Sinclair, with her keen eye for detail, stood at the center of this transformation, orchestrating a meticulous reenactment of the night Victor Harlequin met his untimely end. The grandeur of the room contrasted sharply with the tension that crackled like electricity among those gathered. Eliza's presence was commanding, her voice a steady anchor as she began to narrate the sequence of events from that fateful evening. Each suspect had been carefully positioned, like subtly recreating the atmosphere of the night in question. The widow, Mr. Langley, and the enigmatic artist exchanged furtive glances, the weight of their secrets palpable in the air. As Eliza recounted the moments leading up to Victor's death, her observations were sharp, each shift in demeanor among the suspects a potential clue. The widow's eyes darted nervously, Mr. Langley's bravado flickered, and the artist seemed to shrink under the weight of unspoken truths. The ballroom, once a place of celebration, now bore witness to the unraveling of a tightly knit web of deception. More importantly, Eliza's narrative took a dramatic turn as she unveiled a hidden truth that sent shockwaves through the assembly. The ledger, previously dismissed as a mere financial record, was in fact a coded map to a clandestine network of illicit dealings. This revelation was a thunderclap, shattering the facade of respectability that had shrouded Victor's life. The widow's face paled as her secret affair came to light, her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. Mr. Langley, once so confident, now stood exposed, his financial desperation laid bare for all to see. The artist, cornered by newfound evidence, attempted to deflect blame, but Eliza's relentless pursuit of the truth left no room for escape. In a dramatic crescendo, Eliza confronted the artist with a sketch hidden within the ledger, implicating him in a broader conspiracy. The artist's protestations were futile against the weight of evidence, his desperation a stark contrast to Eliza's unwavering resolve. The reenactment had done more than just reveal the truth. It had stripped away the layers of deceit that had enshrouded Victor's demise. Yet, as the reenactment reached its climax, Eliza faced a moral quandary. The conspiracy extended beyond personal vendettas, reaching into the realm of societal corruption. She grappled with the implications of exposing such a far-reaching deceit, questioning the very nature of justice in a world where power and influence reigned supreme. The reality is, this subchapter was pivotal not only for advancing the plot, but also for deepening the emotional journey of Eliza Sinclair. It challenged her to confront the complexities of her role as a detective, pushing her to weigh the cost of truth against the potential fallout. The revelations in this chapter served as a catalyst for the dramatic confrontations that would follow, setting the stage for the ultimate resolution of the mystery. With each revelation, the narrative wove seamlessly into the fabric of the overarching story, ensuring a logical flow that kept readers on the edge of their seats. The emotional stakes were high, and the stakes were personal. making this subchapter a turning point that resonated long after the final page was turned. You can see this in the way Eliza's internal conflict mirrored the external unraveling of the conspiracy. Her struggle with the implications of her discoveries added depth to her character, transforming her from a mere investigator into a fully realized protagonist, grappling with the moral ambiguities of her world. What matters most is the way this chapter encapsulated the essence of the story, an intricate web of mystery and deception set against the backdrop of the early 1930s. The atmospheric settings, sharp dialogue, and methodical storytelling reflected the evolving style of mystery cinema at the dawn of the talkies, offering readers a homage to the era while delivering a timeless tale of intrigue and suspense. As the chapter drew to a close, Eliza stood at the center of the ballroom, the weight of her discoveries heavy on her shoulders. The suspects, now exposed, were left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. The truth had been unveiled, but at what cost? Eliza's journey was far from over, and the questions raised in this chapter would linger, setting the stage for the dramatic confrontations and resolutions that lay ahead. In conclusion, The Conspiracy Unveiled was a masterful exploration of the themes of deception and justice, intricately woven into the narrative. It challenged readers to question their assumptions, piece together the mystery, and consider the broader implications of truth and justice in a world where nothing is quite as it first appears. This chapter was not just a turning point in the story, but a profound reflection on the nature of truth and the complexities of the human condition. The ballroom, once alive with the vibrant hum of high society, now stood eerily silent. The grand chandeliers cast a dim, haunting glow over the polished floors, where Detective Eliza Sinclair had gathered the key suspects of Victor Harlequin's mysterious death. The air was thick with tension, and the stakes were high as Eliza prepared to unravel the truth through a meticulously planned reenactment of the fateful night. Eliza, with her sharp eyes and even sharper mind, began by recounting the known events leading up to Victor's demise. Her voice, calm yet authoritative, sliced through the silence, prompting each suspect to recall their actions and interactions. She watched them closely, looking for the slightest hint of deception, a flicker of unease that might betray their carefully constructed facades. As she orchestrated the timeline, Eliza introduced the Ledger, a seemingly innocuous book that had become a linchpin in the investigation. Its coded contents hinted at a hidden fortune and a conspiracy of financial manipulation and betrayal. The revelation sent shockwaves through the group, exposing hidden alliances and deep-seated grudges. Eyes darted nervously, and whispers of disbelief echoed through the cavernous ballroom. Eliza's attention turned to the widow, a picture of elegance now marred by the weight of suspicion. Her secret affair with Victor's business partner, Mr. Langley, was laid bare, and the emotional turmoil was palpable. The widow's eyes, once full of defiance, now brimmed with tears as she grappled with her divided loyalties and the consequences of her indiscretions. Mr. Langley, visibly shaken, admitted to financial disputes with Victor, but vehemently denied any involvement in his murder. His voice wavered as he spoke, his eyes darting to the floor as if searching for a way out of the tangled web he found himself ensnared in. The artist, initially aloof and enigmatic, became increasingly agitated as Eliza's deductions closed in on him. His once solid alibi began to crumble under scrutiny, revealing a potential motive tied to a past betrayal by Victor. The artist's facade cracked, revealing a man driven by desperation and revenge, his cool demeanor giving way to a torrent of emotions. As the reenactment reached its crescendo, Eliza's moral dilemma intensified. The truth lay before her, stark and unyielding. The murderer had acted not out of greed, but as an act of retribution for a wrong Victor had committed long ago. This revelation forced Eliza to weigh the scales of justice against the complexities of human emotion and moral ambiguity. In a climactic moment, Eliza faced a decision that would define her character and her career. Should she uphold the law to its fullest extent, or should she acknowledge the shades of gray in this tangled web of deceit? Her decision was a turning point, reflecting her growth and her understanding of the intricate dance between justice and morality. As the ballroom's tension reached its peak, Eliza took a deep breath, her resolve tested but unbroken. She reflected on the cost of uncovering the truth, questioning the very nature of justice in a world where nothing is ever black and white. Her decision would shape not only the outcome of this case, but also set the stage for her future investigations. The suspects, now unmasked and vulnerable, awaited Eliza's judgment. The widow, caught between love and betrayal, the business partner, entangled in financial deceit, and the artist, driven by vengeance, all stood at the precipice of their fates. Eliza's voice, steady and resolute, broke the silence. "Justice," she began, "is not always about punishment. Sometimes it's about understanding the truth and finding a way forward." Her words hung in the air, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness of the past. With her decision made, Eliza turned to the artist, the man whose actions had set this tragic chain of events into motion. "Your actions were driven by pain and betrayal," she acknowledged, "but they cannot go unpunished. However, understanding your motives allows us to seek a resolution that honors both justice and compassion." The artist nodded, his expression a mix of relief and resignation. He understood the gravity of his actions and the mercy that Eliza extended. It was a moment of catharsis, a release from the burden of his past. The widow and Mr. Langley, too, found themselves reflecting on their roles in Victor's life and death. Their secrets, once hidden, now lay bare, offering a chance for redemption and a new beginning. As the suspects were led away, Eliza remained in the ballroom, the weight of her decision settling over her like a cloak. She had chosen a path that balanced justice with empathy, a path that would guide her in future cases. Eliza's thoughts turned inward, contemplating the complexities of justice and morality. In a world where every shadow could harbor a new revelation, she understood that true justice was not always about retribution, but about understanding and healing. Her journey had just begun, and the lessons she had learned would serve her well in the mysteries yet to come. The ballroom, now empty, echoed with the promise of future adventures, each one a step toward uncovering the truth in a world where nothing is ever as it seems. As she left the mansion, Eliza felt a renewed sense of purpose. The moral dilemma she had faced was not just a challenge, but an opportunity to grow as a detective and as a person. Her decision had set a precedent for her career, one that valued truth and compassion over blind justice. With the case resolved, Eliza looked forward to the future, ready to tackle new mysteries with the same determination and insight that had guided her through the Harlequin Ledger. Her journey was far from over, and the world of high society held many more secrets waiting to be uncovered. The story of Victor Harlequin's death had come to a close, but Eliza's story was just beginning. Her resolve was unbroken, her spirit undaunted, as she set her sights on the next case, ready to face whatever moral dilemmas lay ahead. Chapter 6, The Final Confrontation. Eliza Sinclair stood in the dimly lit drawing room, her eyes sweeping over the gathered suspects. The air was thick with anticipation, the silence punctuated only by the distant ticking of a grandfather clock. "Ladies and gentlemen," Eliza began, her voice steady yet commanding, "the truth is stranger than any fiction we could conjure." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. Victor Harlequin's death was no accident. It was a meticulously planned murder, driven by greed and betrayal. The widow gasped, a hand flying to her mouth as the others exchanged nervous glances. Eliza continued, "The ledger was key. It revealed a hidden fortune and the lengths someone would go to claim it." Eliza turned her gaze to Mr. Langley, his face ashen. "You had the most to gain, didn't you? Financial disputes, a crumbling business. Victor's death was your lifeline." Langley shifted uneasily, sweat beading on his forehead. "But it was more than money. It was personal, wasn't it?" The room seemed to contract as Eliza's words hung in the air. Langley's facade crumbled and he confessed, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes, I did it. He was going to ruin me." With the confession, justice was served, yet Eliza felt a pang of disquiet. The truth had come at a cost, leaving her to ponder the moral complexities of her pursuit. In a world of deceit, the line between right and wrong blurred, leaving her to reflect on the true nature of justice. The grand drawing room of Victor Harlequin's mansion was a tableau of tension and anticipation. The high ceilings, adorned with intricate moldings, seemed to loom ominously over the gathering, while the somber portraits of Victor's ancestors gazed down, their expressions frozen in judgment. The atmosphere was thick with unease as Detective Eliza Sinclair, poised and unyielding, stood at the center of the room, ready to untangle the web of deceit that had ensnared them all. Eliza's eyes, sharp and discerning, swept over the assembled suspects. To her left stood the widow, her face a mask of grief intermingled with a hint of hostility. Her black dress was a stark contrast to the opulence around her, and her fingers trembled slightly as they clutched a handkerchief. Nearby, Mr. Langley, Victor's business partner, shifted uneasily, his fingers tapping a nervous rhythm on his thigh. His eyes darted around the room, avoiding Eliza's gaze, as if seeking an escape from the scrutiny. The enigmatic artist, with his aloof demeanor, appeared detached from the proceedings, yet Eliza noted the subtle tension in his posture. His eyes, usually so expressive, were now guarded, a veil concealing whatever secrets lay beneath. Other figures, whose roles in Victor's life were less clear, lingered at the edges of the room, their presence adding to the charged atmosphere. Eliza cleared her throat, her voice cutting through the silence with a calm authority. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today. We are gathered to unravel the mystery surrounding Victor Harlequin's death. Each of you has been connected to him in ways that warrant our attention, and it is imperative that we uncover the truth." She paused, allowing her words to settle, observing the subtle shifts in demeanor among the group. Her narrative began with the events leading to Victor's untimely demise, weaving a tapestry of intrigue that tied each suspect to the enigmatic ledger discovered among his belongings. This ledger, she explained, was no ordinary book of accounts but a Pandora's box of secrets, its pages filled with coded entries and cryptic references. As Eliza spoke, she punctuated her account with pointed questions, her strategic pauses designed to elicit reactions. She watched closely as the widow's composure faltered, a flicker of vulnerability betraying her otherwise stoic facade. Mr. Langley, confronted with evidence of financial improprieties, attempted to deflect, his words stumbling over themselves in a desperate attempt to evade Eliza's relentless logic. The artist, previously unflappable, showed a crack in his facade when Eliza hinted at a betrayal that cut deeper than mere business. His eyes narrowed, a flash of anger and fear crossing his features before he regained his composure. Eliza's methodical unraveling of the case revealed connections between Victor's seemingly disparate acquaintances and the hidden motives that bound them. The tension in the room was palpable as Eliza introduced the concept of a hidden fortune linked to the ledger. This revelation sent ripples of shock through the group, shifting dynamics as alliances began to fracture and hidden tensions came to the fore. The widow's eyes widened, a mix of fear and greed flickering in her gaze, while Mr. Langley's fidgeting intensified, his mind racing to reassess his position. The artist, his aloofness now replaced by a palpable anxiety, leaned forward, his interest piqued by the mention of wealth. Eliza seized the moment, her voice rising with the urgency of her revelation. "This hidden fortune, ladies and gentlemen, is the key to understanding Victor's death. It is the thread that ties each of you to this tragic event and the reason we are gathered here today." In the climax of her address, Eliza presented a crucial piece of evidence, a coded entry in the ledger that tied the murderer to the crime. The room held its breath as she named the accused, their protestations drowned out by the weight of the evidence against them. The accused, eyes wide with disbelief, attempted to protest, but Eliza's meticulous presentation left little room for doubt. The ensuing chaos was a cacophony of voices, each suspect grappling with the implications of the revelation. Eliza, though triumphant, remained composed, her mind already turning to the moral complexities of the case. She pondered the cost of truth in a world rife with deception, the burdens borne by those who seek justice in the shadows. As the room slowly returned to order, Eliza took a moment for quiet reflection. The journey to uncover the truth had been fraught with challenges, each revelation a step closer to unraveling the mystery, yet also a reminder of the ambiguities that accompanied it. The suspects, now aware of the consequences of their actions, faced the reality of their choices, their lives forever altered by the events of that day. Eliza's introspective moment was a reminder of the complexities of justice, the delicate balance between revealing the truth and respecting the lives intertwined with it. The chapter closed with a sense of resolution, Yet the lingering questions about the nature of justice and the cost of truth set the stage for the final resolution, where justice would be served, but not without a lingering sense of the ambiguities that accompany it. As the suspects dispersed, each lost in their own thoughts, Eliza remained in the grand drawing room, her gaze fixed on the somber portraits that had witnessed the day's revelations. The shadows cast by the fading afternoon light seemed to shift, as if the ancestors themselves were acknowledging the truth that had come to light. Eliza took a deep breath, ready to face whatever lay ahead, her resolve strengthened by the knowledge that in the pursuit of justice, every shadow held the potential for new revelations. In the heart of Victor Harlequin's grandiose ballroom, the air is thick with anticipation. The opulent chandeliers cast flickering shadows over the assembled guests, each face a mask of anxiety and intrigue. Detective Eliza Sinclair stands poised, her presence commanding attention as she prepares to unravel the tangled web of deceit that has ensnared everyone in a chilling dance of suspicion. Eliza addresses the room, her voice calm yet authoritative. "Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here tonight not just to mourn Victor Harlequin, but to seek justice for his untimely demise. The truth lies within these walls, and I intend to reveal it." Her words ripple through the crowd, a reminder of the stakes at play. The suspects, a mix of high society's elite, each carry their own secrets. As Eliza meticulously pieces together the puzzle, she revisits key moments from the investigation. Let us consider the inconsistencies in the alibis presented. She begins, her narrative methodical and precise. The cryptic notes discovered in Victor's study, the hidden fortune hinted at by the ledger's coded messages. Each revelation is met with gasps and murmurs, heightening the suspense. The widow, a figure once shrouded in an aura of grief, is the first to crack under Eliza's probing questions. "Mrs. Harlequin, your affair was more than a whispered rumor," Eliza states, her voice cutting through the tension. The widow's composure falters, desperation and fear etched across her face. Her secret, now laid bare, complicates her motives and casts doubt on her innocence. Eliza then turns her attention to Mr. Langley, whose nervous demeanor has betrayed him from the start. "Mr. Langley, your financial disputes with Victor are well documented," she asserts, confronting him with evidence of his precarious position. The room holds its breath as Langley's facade crumbles, revealing a man driven by greed and desperation. The artist, enigmatic and aloof, is the final piece of the puzzle. Eliza's sharp intuition has uncovered a past betrayal linking the artist to Victor's scandalous history. As she unveils the artist's true motives, the room erupts in shock. The artist's carefully constructed alibi dissolves under the weight of truth, leaving him exposed. In a climactic moment, Eliza reveals the murderer, Mr. Langley. His financial ruin and desperation led him to commit the ultimate betrayal. "I did it," Langley confesses, his voice filled with remorse and regret. The confession brings a sense of closure to the gathered audience, yet it leaves lingering questions of morality and justice. As the subchapter concludes, Eliza reflects on the cost of uncovering the truth. She acknowledges the moral ambiguities and personal sacrifices that accompany the pursuit of justice. Her resolve is strengthened, setting the stage for future mysteries and challenges. The ballroom, once filled with tension and suspicion, slowly returns to its opulent stillness, the echoes of the evening's revelations lingering in the air. Let's delve deeper into how Eliza methodically dismantled the facade of innocence each suspect wore. Her investigation began with a close examination of the cryptic notes found in Victor's study. These notes, initially dismissed as mere scribbles, were the key to understanding the complex relationships and hidden motives that surrounded Victor's life. Eliza spent countless hours in Victor's study, poring over the notes. Her keen eye for detail allowed her to see patterns where others saw chaos. "These notes aren't just random thoughts," she mused to herself. "They're a map of Victor's world, each line a thread leading to his allies and enemies." Her ability to connect these threads was crucial in unraveling the mystery. The widow's affair, once a closely guarded secret, was another piece of the puzzle. Eliza's questioning was relentless, her intuition guiding her to the truth. "Your relationship with Victor was more complicated than it seemed," Eliza pressed, watching as the widow's defenses crumbled. The affair, once a source of solace, now painted the widow as a woman trapped by her choices, her motives clouded by love and betrayal. Mr. Langley's financial entanglements with Victor were another focal point of Eliza's investigation. She knew that money was often a powerful motive for murder. "Your financial disputes with Victor were no secret," Eliza stated during her interrogation. Langley's nervousness was palpable, his attempts to deflect suspicion only serving to incriminate him further. "Desperation drives people to do unthinkable things," Eliza noted, her voice tinged with empathy yet unyielding in its pursuit of truth. The artist, with his aloof demeanor, was perhaps the most challenging suspect. His connection to Victor's scandalous past was a revelation that shocked everyone. "Your betrayal isn't just a rumor," Eliza declared, her words slicing through the artist's defenses. The artist's carefully crafted persona unraveled, exposing the raw emotions and motives that lay beneath. Eliza's methodical approach to the investigation was a testament to her skills as a detective. She understood that each piece of evidence, no matter how small, was a crucial part of the larger picture. Her ability to see beyond the surface, to understand the human emotions and motives driving each suspect, was what ultimately led her to the truth. The confrontation in the ballroom was the culmination of Eliza's efforts. As she laid out the evidence, the tension in the room was palpable. Each revelation was met with shock and disbelief, the suspects' reactions betraying their guilt. "Justice isn't just about finding the truth," Eliza reflected later. "It's about understanding the complexities of human nature, the moral ambiguities that define us all." As the evening drew to a close, the ballroom slowly returned to its opulent stillness. The echoes of the night's revelations lingered in the air, a reminder of the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface. For Eliza, the case was a stark reminder of the cost of uncovering the truth, the personal sacrifices and moral dilemmas that came with the pursuit of justice. Yet even as she reflected on these challenges, Eliza's resolve was strengthened. The mystery of Victor Harlequin's death had been solved, but she knew that there would always be more mysteries to unravel, more truths to uncover. Her journey was far from over, and she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the guests slowly departed, Eliza stood alone in the ballroom, her mind already turning to the next case. The world of high society was filled with secrets and scandals, and she was determined to uncover them all. With a final glance at the opulent surroundings, she stepped into the night, ready to continue her pursuit of justice. The grand parlor of the Harlequin mansion was a theater of shadows, its opulence dimmed by the flickering candlelight that cast long, dancing silhouettes across the room. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood at the center, her presence commanding yet composed, a lighthouse in a storm of suspicion. The air was thick with anticipation, every breath a silent question waiting to be answered. Around her, the circle of suspects sat in tense silence. The widow, a picture of fragile elegance. Mr. Langley, the business partner whose anxiety was betrayed by the twitch of his fingers, and the enigmatic artist, his expression a mask of defiance. Eliza began her methodical recounting of the events leading to Victor Harlequin's death, her voice steady and authoritative. "Let us revisit the night of Victor's demise," she began, her eyes sweeping the room. "A night shrouded in secrets and deception, where each of you played a part in the unfolding drama." Her words were a scalpel, cutting through the layers of deceit that had clouded the truth. The widow shifted uneasily, her defenses rising as Eliza's narrative zeroed in on her. "Mrs. Harlequin," Eliza addressed her directly, "your affair was more than a mere indiscretion. It was a catalyst, a spark in the powder keg of that fateful night." The widow's face paled, her carefully constructed facade beginning to crumble under the weight of her own secrets. Turning her attention to Mr. Langley, Eliza continued, "And you, Mr. Langley, your financial disputes with Victor were no secret, but the ledger reveals more, a web of clandestine dealings that tied you inexorably to his fate." Langley's composure faltered, his facade of calm unraveling as he realized the futility of denial. "The advantages you sought were built on a foundation of greed," Eliza pressed, her words a relentless tide eroding his defenses. The artist, however, remained defiant, his alibi a fragile shield against Eliza's incisive deductions. "Your past betrayal," she said, her gaze piercing, "was the seed of your motive. The ledger connects you to the murder weapon, a detail you could not anticipate. The room held its breath as Eliza presented the final piece of evidence, a crucial clue that linked him directly to the crime. The artist's bravado crumbled, replaced by a confession that poured forth like a dam breached, revealing the intricate plot that had led to Victor's demise. As the revelations unfolded, the room became a cauldron of emotion. Accusations flew, alliances shifted, and the true nature of each suspect was laid bare. The widow, in a moment of vulnerability, broke down, confessing her role in the conspiracy, driven by desperation and a promise of wealth. Mr. Langley, realizing the futility of denial, admitted to his part in the plan, highlighting the greed that blinded him to the consequences. With the mystery unraveled, Eliza paused, reflecting on the complexities of justice in a world rife with deceit. Her resolve wavered momentarily as she considered the moral ambiguities of her actions, but she ultimately found solace in the knowledge that justice had been served. The suspects, now stripped of their facades, were left to face the consequences of their actions. Consider this scenario. In the pursuit of justice, Eliza had to navigate not only the labyrinth of lies, but also the moral dilemmas that arose with each revelation. Her journey was not just about uncovering the truth behind Victor's death, but also about confronting the ethical complexities that justice demanded. In a world where deceit was as common as the air they breathed, Eliza's intellect-driven detection became a beacon of integrity. Eliza's methodical approach to solving the mystery was a testament to her expertise. By piecing together the clues scattered throughout the narrative, she demonstrated the power of intellect and intuition in unraveling the truth. Her ability to connect seemingly disparate pieces of evidence was not just a display of skill, but also a reflection of her unwavering commitment to justice. From a different angle, the unfolding drama in the grand parlor was a microcosm of the larger societal issues that plagued the world Eliza inhabited. The high society in which Victor moved was a world of hidden motives and concealed truths, where the line between friend and foe was often blurred. In this world, justice was not just about retribution, but also about understanding the intricate web of relationships and motivations that drove people to act as they did. As the chapter drew to a close, Eliza stood alone, contemplating the cost of uncovering the truth. The emotional journey had taken its toll, yet she remained resolute, her mind already turning to future challenges. The seamless transition to the next chapter hinted at new adventures, leaving readers eager for what lay ahead in Eliza's relentless pursuit of justice. The resolution of the case brought closure not only to the characters, but also to the readers, who had been drawn into the intricate web of mystery and deception. Eliza's journey was a reminder that justice, while often elusive, was worth pursuing, even in a world rife with deceit. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Eliza reflected on her journey and the complexities of justice. Her resolve to uncover the truth had been unwavering, but the moral ambiguities she encountered along the way had left their mark. Yet she found solace in the knowledge that justice had been served, and the suspects were left to face the consequences of their actions. The story concluded with a hint of future adventures for Eliza, her mind already turning to the next case that awaited her. As she stepped out of the grand parlor, leaving behind the shadows of the past, she carried with her the lessons learned and the resolve to continue her pursuit of justice in a world where every clue mattered, and nothing was quite as it first appeared. Chapter 7: Aftermath and Reflection. The grand ballroom was now silent, a stark contrast to the night of revelations that had just unfolded. Eliza Sinclair stood amidst the echoes of whispered confessions and the weight of justice served. As she surveyed the room, her mind drifted back to the beginning of this labyrinthine journey, pondering the intricate dance of deception and truth. Eliza's reflections were not just about the case, but the moral complexities that justice entails. The path to the truth had been fraught with shadows, where each decision carried the burden of ethical ambiguity. She recalled the moment when the ledger's cryptic codes unraveled, revealing not just a hidden fortune, but the tangled web of human motives. In the quiet aftermath, Eliza considered the lessons learned. Her resolve to seek justice was unwavering, yet she acknowledged the gray areas that often accompany such pursuits. The realization that justice sometimes demands more than the truth was a sobering one. It required understanding, compassion, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. As the dust settled, a sense of closure enveloped the characters. Each had faced their own reckoning, and in doing so, contributed to a narrative that was as much about self-discovery as it was about solving a mystery. Yet for Eliza, this was merely a chapter in a larger story. A letter slipped under her door hinted at another enigma waiting to be unraveled. The thrill of the chase beckoned once more, promising new adventures and challenges. Eliza smiled, her journey as a detective far from over, ready to embrace the mysteries that lay ahead. Eliza Sinclair stood in the cavernous entry hall of Victor Harlequin's mansion, the silence almost palpable after the tumultuous days of investigation. The grandeur of the place had not diminished with its emptiness. If anything, the absence of people made the opulence feel more pronounced, as if the house itself was holding its breath, waiting for the final act to conclude. As she wandered through the halls, her footsteps echoing softly against the marble floors, Eliza's mind was a tapestry of thoughts and reflections. The case had been an intricate puzzle, each piece revealing more about the complexities of human nature than she had anticipated. She paused at the foot of a grand staircase, her fingers trailing along the polished banister. It was here, just days ago, that she had ascended with a sense of purpose, driven by the need to uncover the truth behind Victor's death. The mansion, once vibrant with the hum of high society, now felt like a mausoleum of secrets. Each room she entered was a chapter in the story of Victor Harlequin's life, a life steeped in intrigue and deception. The library, with its towering shelves and the faint scent of old leather-bound books, had been a sanctuary for Victor, a place where he could hide from the world and perhaps from himself. Eliza stood by the window, looking out at the expansive gardens, now overcast with the gray hues of a cloudy afternoon. Victor's study was next, a room that had been both a battleground and a refuge. Here Eliza had discovered the hidden compartment containing cryptic notes, each one a breadcrumb leading her closer to the truth. As she surveyed the room, she couldn't help but ponder the moral ambiguities she had encountered throughout the investigation. Justice, she mused, was not always a clear path. The pursuit of truth often came at a cost, a burden she felt acutely as she considered the lives impacted by her findings. Eliza's journey had been one of intellect and intuition, yet she knew the human cost of uncovering the truth weighed heavily on her conscience. The notion of justice was not as black and white as she had once believed. Was it worth the pain and upheaval it caused to those left behind? The widow, for instance, now faced a future unburdened by her husband's secrets. Her liberation was bittersweet, a newfound freedom tainted by the knowledge of the deceit she had lived with for so long. In contrast, Mr. Langley had been consumed by guilt and fear, his role in the events a heavy chain around his neck. Eliza recalled their conversation, his eyes haunted as he vowed to make amends. It was a moment of redemption, a chance for him to seek forgiveness and perhaps find peace. His journey was a reminder that even those who falter could choose a different path, one of integrity and accountability. The enigmatic artist, whose alibi had crumbled under scrutiny, faced their own reckoning. Betrayals and past choices had led them to this point, and now they stood at a crossroads. Eliza had watched as they grappled with the consequences of their actions, a poignant reminder of the impact of deception. Each character's resolution was a thread in the larger tapestry of justice and truth, woven together with the themes of human nature and morality. As Eliza prepared to leave the mansion, she found herself drawn to one last mystery. A note, left behind by Victor, hinted at another enigma waiting to be unraveled. It was a tantalizing promise of future adventures, a reminder that in the world of high society, secrets were as abundant as the stars in the night sky. The note was cryptic, yet it set her mind racing with possibilities, igniting a spark of anticipation for what lay ahead. Standing at the threshold of the mansion, Eliza took a moment to reflect on the journey she had undertaken. The threshold was more than a physical boundary. It was a symbolic passage from the past to the future. Her resolve was stronger than ever, fortified by the lessons learned and the truths uncovered. As she stepped out into the brisk afternoon air, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, ready to embrace the challenges that awaited her. The closure of this chapter did not mark an end, but rather a beginning. The emotional journey had reached its conclusion, yet the story was far from over. Eliza knew that the world of mystery and intrigue was ever evolving, a landscape rich with opportunities for exploration and discovery. The mansion, now behind her, was a reminder of the trials faced and the triumphs achieved, a testament to the enduring quest for truth. For readers, this moment of reflection offered a chance to breathe, to absorb the resolution of the characters' arcs, and to ponder the themes of justice and morality. Eliza's journey was a mirror, reflecting the complexities of human nature and the shades of gray that defined her profession. Her transformation from a mere investigator to a thoughtful seeker of truth was complete, yet her story was just beginning. The anticipation of Eliza's next adventure lingered in the air, a promise of new mysteries to unravel and new truths to uncover. As she walked away from the mansion, the world seemed full of potential, a vast canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of intrigue and discovery. The seamless transition from the past to the future ensured that the emotional journey felt complete, yet left room for new chapters to unfold. In the end, closure for the characters was not just about tying up loose ends, but about opening doors to new possibilities. Eliza Sinclair, with her sharp intellect and unwavering resolve, stood ready to face whatever came next, a beacon of determination in a world where every shadow held a secret and every truth was a puzzle waiting to be solved. The mirror reflected more than just Eliza Sinclair's poised figure. It mirrored the myriad thoughts swirling in her mind, each as enigmatic as the case she was determined to solve. The grand ballroom at the Harlequin estate was a sea of silk and whispers, yet it was Eliza's own reflection that held her gaze, prompting her to delve deeper into the intricacies of the mystery she was unraveling. As she turned away from the mirror, the echoes of the Gala's music faded into a haunting silence, replaced by the rhythmic ticking of a distant grandfather clock. This was her moment of reflection, a pause in the relentless pursuit of truth that had become her life's calling. Eliza's journey had begun under the guise of a socialite, her keen eyes observing the subtle dynamics and tensions that simmered beneath the polished veneer of high society. The death of Victor Harlequin, initially dismissed as an unfortunate accident, had unveiled a Pandora's box of secrets and lies. It was the mysterious ledger found among Victor's belongings that had drawn her into this web of intrigue, each entry a potential clue, each page a step closer to the truth. Her investigation was a dance of intellect and intuition, a delicate balance between probing questions and careful listening. The widow, with her sorrowful eyes and guarded demeanor, had been the first to reveal Victor's secretive nature. Yet it was Mr. Langley, the business partner, whose nervousness betrayed more than words ever could. His evasiveness hinted at financial disputes, a motive lurking beneath the surface of cordial business relations. The artist, enigmatic and aloof, had spoken of betrayal, his words painting a picture of past grievances that could easily have festered into something more sinister. Each conversation was a piece of the puzzle, each revelation a step further into the labyrinth of Victor's life. Eliza's reflection was not merely a moment of introspection, it was a reminder of the shadows of the past that loomed over the present. Her visits to the archives had unearthed a scandal that had once rocked high society, a scandal that now seemed inextricably linked to Victor's untimely demise. Piecing together his connections and rivalries, Eliza found herself navigating a world where the line between friend and foe blurred with each new discovery. The hidden compartment in Victor's study had yielded cryptic notes, tantalizing hints that pointed towards a hidden fortune. It was a discovery that intensified the stakes, a revelation that suggested Victor's death was but a piece of a larger conspiracy. Her intuition, honed by years of detective work, led her to suspect a connection between the ledger and Victor's death, a connection that could unravel the entire mystery. Confronting Mr. Langley had been a turning point. His admission of financial disputes with Victor added another layer to the tangled web of motives. Yet, it was the widow's revelation of a secret affair that truly complicated matters, weaving a complex tapestry of relationships that obscured the path to truth. Deciphering the code in the ledger had been a breakthrough, the key to unlocking a fortune hidden in plain sight. It was a discovery that cast suspicion on the artist, whose alibi began to crumble under scrutiny. Each suspect held a piece of the puzzle, each revelation a step closer to unveiling the truth. Eliza's reflection was a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, a chance to consider the moral ambiguities that arose in the pursuit of justice. Her investigation was not merely about solving a case. It was about confronting the ethical dilemmas that came with uncovering the truth in a world rife with deceit. The reenactment of the night of Victor's death had been a masterstroke, a chance to observe the reactions of those gathered, to see the alliances shift and the secrets laid bare. It was a tense affair, each moment fraught with the potential for revelation or ruin. The crucial clue that emerged connected the ledger to a larger conspiracy, a revelation that brought Eliza face to face with a moral dilemma that challenged her to her core. In the final confrontation, Eliza gathered all the suspects, each one a player in the intricate game of deception that had played out in the shadowy world of high society. The true motive and the murderer were revealed, the confrontation escalating into a dramatic confession that left no room for doubt. Justice was served, yet Eliza found herself reflecting on the cost of uncovering the truth, the personal toll that came with the relentless pursuit of justice. The resolution of the case brought closure to the characters, each one left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. For Eliza, it was a moment of introspection, a chance to contemplate her journey and the complexities of justice in a world where nothing was as it seemed. As the story concluded, a hint of future adventures lingered in the air, a promise of mysteries yet to be solved and truths yet to be uncovered. Eliza's reflection in the mirror was not just a moment of introspection. It was a reminder of the journey that lay ahead, a journey that promised to be as challenging and rewarding as the one she had just completed. In the world of the Harlequin Ledger, every clue mattered, every shadow held a secret, and nothing was quite as it first appeared. For Eliza Sinclair, the journey was far from over, the reflection in the mirror a testament to the mysteries yet to be unraveled and the truths yet to be discovered. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood at the edge of her modest apartment, the city stretching out before her like an unending sea of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The evening air was crisp, carrying with it the distant hum of life that never seemed to rest. In the aftermath of the Harlequin case, Eliza found herself at a crossroads, her mind a blend of triumph and introspection as she pondered the moral complexities she had navigated. The resolution of the case had brought a sense of closure, yet also a lingering restlessness. The line between justice and vengeance had been a thin one, often blurred in the shadows of high society, where secrets were currency and deception a way of life. Eliza's thoughts drifted to the moments when she had to decide whether to follow the letter of the law or the spirit of justice, each choice weighing heavily on her conscience. Returning to her apartment, Eliza was greeted by the familiar sight of scattered notes and a half-empty coffee cup, remnants of the intense investigation that had consumed her days and nights. Here, in the quiet solitude, she found solace, yet the pulse of the city outside her window was a constant reminder of the mysteries yet to be uncovered. It was a moment of reflection that allowed her to assess her growth. Her resolve had strengthened, her intuition sharpened, and her understanding of human nature deepened. As she contemplated these thoughts, a knock at the door interrupted her reverie. It was Inspector Jameson, a familiar face and occasional ally in her investigations. His presence was both unexpected and welcome, a reminder of the camaraderie they had shared during the Harlequin case. Their conversation was laced with mutual respect, Jameson's gruff demeanor softened by a burgeoning admiration for Eliza's unconventional methods. "You've done well, Sinclair," Jameson acknowledged, his voice carrying a hint of grudging respect. "The Harlequin case was no ordinary puzzle, and you handled it with a finesse that few could muster." Eliza met his gaze, her expression a blend of gratitude and curiosity. "Thank you, Inspector, but I suspect this isn't just a social call." Jameson chuckled, a rare sound that spoke of shared understanding. "You're right. There's something else, a series of unsolved cases that have baffled the department. I thought you might be interested." He handed her a file, the contents cryptic and intriguing. These cases are peculiar. They don't fit the usual patterns. I believe your talents could be of use once more. Eliza accepted the file, her mind already racing with possibilities. The thrill of the chase was a siren call she couldn't resist, the allure of solving the unsolvable, an irresistible temptation. Yet before she could delve deeper into the mysteries Jameson had presented, another knock at the door drew her attention. This time, it was a messenger delivering a package, an elegantly wrapped parcel that piqued her curiosity. Inside, she found a rare book on cryptography, a subject that had fascinated her since her youth. Accompanying the book was a note from an anonymous sender for the puzzles yet to come. The gift was both a token of appreciation and a tantalizing promise of future challenges. It was a reminder that her journey as a detective was far from over, that the path ahead was fraught with danger and moral ambiguity, yet filled with the promise of adventure. As the evening wore on, Eliza found herself standing on her balcony once more, the city skyline stretching before her like an open book. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and possibilities, the thrill of the chase already calling to her. She knew that the life of a detective was one of constant vigilance, where every shadow could harbor a new revelation, every whisper a clue waiting to be uncovered. Reflecting on the journey that had brought her to this point, Eliza realized that her understanding of justice had evolved. It was no longer a black and white concept, but a spectrum of grays, each case a unique tapestry of human nature and hidden motives. In the world she navigated, deception was an art form, and truth a precious commodity. The Harlequin case had been a crucible, testing her resolve and challenging her perceptions. It had taught her that justice was not just about finding the guilty, but about understanding the complexities of human behavior, the motivations that drove people to commit acts of desperation. It was a lesson she carried with her, a guiding principle in her pursuit of truth. As the city lights twinkled in the distance, Eliza felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, yet she was ready to embrace it with open arms. The mysteries that awaited her were not just puzzles to be solved, but journeys of discovery, each one an opportunity to delve deeper into the human psyche and uncover the truths that lay hidden beneath the surface. With the promise of future adventures lingering in the air, Eliza turned her attention to the file Jameson had left, her mind already formulating strategies and theories. The cases were intriguing, each one a potential thread in a larger tapestry of intrigue and deception. It was a challenge she welcomed, a chance to apply her sharpened intuition and keen intellect to unravel the mysteries that had eluded others. In that moment of quiet reflection, Eliza understood that her journey was far from over. The path of a detective was one of constant evolution, where each case was a stepping stone to greater understanding and insight. The thrill of the chase was a part of her very being, an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and truth. As she prepared to dive into the new cases, Eliza felt a sense of anticipation and excitement. The mysteries that awaited her were not just challenges to be overcome, but opportunities to grow and learn, to explore the depths of human nature and uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. With the city as her backdrop and the promise of future adventures on the horizon, Eliza Sinclair was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. Her journey as a detective was just beginning, and the path before her was one of endless possibilities, each step a new chapter in her story of discovery and intrigue. Chapter 8, Epilogue. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets, Eliza Sinclair sat in her modest office, the remains of the Harlequin case scattered before her. The room was filled with the scent of aged paper and a hint of the evening's chill, a fitting backdrop for what lay ahead. Just as she was about to close the ledger that had unraveled so many secrets, a soft knock interrupted her thoughts. The door creaked open, revealing a familiar figure cloaked in mystery. It was Inspector Thompson, his silhouette framed by the dim glow of the street lamp outside. "Eliza," he began, his voice low and cautious, "there's something you need to see." He handed her a sealed envelope, its contents revealing an unexpected twist, a photograph linking Victor Harlequin to another enigmatic figure, a name whispered in the darker corners of high society, Madame LaRue. The implications were staggering, suggesting a web of intrigue that stretched beyond the confines of the recent investigation. Eliza's heart quickened with the thrill of the unknown. The photograph was more than just a clue. It was a bridge to a new mystery, a tantalizing hint of the adventures that awaited. She felt the familiar pull of curiosity and justice, knowing that this connection could unravel yet another tapestry of deception. As she pondered the possibilities, the telephone rang, its sharp tone cutting through the silence. A new case awaited her attention, promising more riddles to solve and truths to uncover. With a determined glint in her eye, Eliza knew her journey was far from over. The world was filled with secrets, and she was ready to uncover them, one mystery at a time. The moon hung low over the sprawling Harlequin estate, its silvery light casting long shadows across the manicured lawns. Detective Eliza Sinclair stood alone in the grand foyer, the echoes of the past case still reverberating in her mind. The mansion, once a hub of opulence and intrigue, now felt like a hollow shell, its secrets laid bare. Yet, as the dust settled, an unexpected connection emerged, promising to lead Eliza into another labyrinth of mystery. As she pondered the events that had unfolded, the widow approached her, her steps quiet against the polished marble floor. In her hand, she held a sealed envelope, its edges worn and yellowed with age. "Victor wanted you to have this," she said softly, her voice tinged with a mixture of relief and sorrow. Eliza accepted the envelope with a nod, her curiosity piqued by the widow's cryptic words. Retreating to the study, Eliza carefully broke the seal. Inside, she found a note written in Victor Harlequin's elegant script, accompanied by a photograph. The note was brief, yet its implications were profound. To uncover the truth, look beyond the obvious. The photograph, however, was more perplexing. It depicted Victor alongside a man Eliza did not recognize, their expressions caught in a moment of shared confidence. Examining the photograph under the study's dim light, Eliza noticed a detail that sent a shiver down her spine. The man standing beside Victor bore an unmistakable insignia on his lapel, one associated with a notorious crime syndicate that had long eluded capture. This revelation was a spark, igniting a new fire within Eliza to unravel the enigma Victor had left behind. Determined to follow this lead, Eliza dove into the archives, sifting through records and old case files. The photograph became her compass, guiding her through a maze of Victor's past dealings. Each piece of information she uncovered hinted at a larger conspiracy, one that stretched far beyond the confines of the Harlequin estate. As she pieced together the puzzle, a pattern began to emerge. The syndicate, known for its cunning and ruthlessness, had its tendrils entwined in a series of unsolved cases that had plagued the city for years. Eliza's mind raced with the implications. Could Victor's death have been orchestrated to silence him before he revealed their secrets? With each discovery, Eliza felt the weight of the case grow heavier, the stakes higher. The photograph, with its faded edges and mysterious figure, became a focal point, driving her to revisit Victor's allies and adversaries. Her investigation led her to the doorsteps of those who had once shared Victor's confidence, each encounter peeling back another layer of the mystery. One evening, as Eliza sat in her office, surrounded by files and photographs, a moment of clarity struck. The connections between the syndicate and the city's unsolved cases were undeniable. She saw the threads of deceit and manipulation, all orchestrated by a mastermind who had remained hidden in the shadows. This realization was both exhilarating and daunting, opening a path that promised to challenge her skills as a detective. Eliza's resolve hardened. She knew that bringing down this criminal empire would require more than just her intellect. It would demand courage and tenacity. As she prepared to leave the mansion, the distant wail of sirens echoed in the night, a reminder that her work was far from over. Stepping into the moonlit night, Eliza felt a renewed sense of purpose. The case of Victor Harlequin had closed one chapter, but the photograph and cryptic note had opened another. This unexpected connection was a bridge to future stories, promising more thrilling adventures that would test her mettle and sharpen her instincts. As she walked away from the mansion, her thoughts drifted back to the beginning of her journey. The Gala where it all started, the hidden ledger, and the tangled web of suspects. Each step had brought her closer to the truth, each revelation a testament to her growth as a detective. The narrative of her investigation was one of transformation, of a detective who had navigated the treacherous waters of deception and emerged with a clearer understanding of justice. The emotional weight of the revelation added depth to her character, leaving readers eager to follow her into the unknown. In this moment of transition, Eliza felt a kinship with the city she sought to protect. Its streets, with their hidden dangers and untold stories, mirrored the complexities of her own journey. The unexpected connection she had uncovered was more than just a lead. It was a testament to the interconnectedness of all things, a reminder that every action had a ripple effect. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Eliza's thoughts turned to the future. The photograph in her pocket was a promise of new challenges, a symbol of the mysteries yet to be solved. Her journey was far from over, and with each step, she would continue to unravel the threads of deceit that threatened to ensnare her city. In the quiet solitude of the early morning, Eliza Sinclair stood ready to face whatever lay ahead. The unexpected connection had set her on a path of discovery, one that would lead her deeper into the shadows and closer to the truth. And as the city awoke to a new day, Eliza knew that she was not only a detective, but a guardian of justice, determined to see it served. As the evening shadows lengthened across the Harlequin mansion, Detective Eliza Sinclair stood in the grand foyer, her gaze sweeping over the silent opulence that had been the backdrop to so many recent revelations. The case of Victor Harlequin's death had been as complex as the man himself, a tapestry of secrets, lies, and ultimately truth. Yet as satisfying as it was to have unraveled the mystery, Eliza felt a lingering sense of unease. The resolution of one case often signals the beginning of another, and the world of high society was never short of intrigue. Eliza's footsteps echoed softly as she walked through the now empty halls, each room a silent witness to the drama that had unfolded. In the library, where the scent of aged leather and old books lingered, she paused to reflect. Solving Victor's murder had come at a personal cost. Trust had been tested, alliances formed and broken. The case had demanded not just her skills as a detective, but also a deep understanding of human nature, a reminder that justice is rarely straightforward. Just as she was about to leave, something caught her eye. A single envelope lay on the mahogany desk, its presence both unexpected and intriguing. Addressed to her in a script that was unfamiliar yet precise, it beckoned with the promise of new secrets. Eliza's heart quickened as she opened it, revealing a cryptic message that hinted at another enigma. The note suggested that Victor's death might be but a piece of a larger puzzle, one that reached into the darker recesses of the city. This discovery reignited a spark within Eliza. The thrill of the chase, the allure of the unknown, it was irresistible. The message mentioned a clandestine club, notorious for its shadowy dealings, nestled in the heart of the city. It was a place where whispers could either reveal truths or mislead, a perfect setting for the next chapter of her investigation. Before stepping into this new mystery, Eliza took a moment to consider the relationships she had forged during her investigation. The widow, initially cold and distant, had become an unexpected ally, her insights proving invaluable. There was Mr. Langley, whose nervous demeanor had masked a complex web of financial disputes and betrayals. And then the enigmatic artist, whose alibi had crumbled under scrutiny, revealing layers of deception. Each had played a part in the unfolding drama, their lives as intertwined as the threads of the case itself. As Eliza prepared to leave the mansion, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The city sprawled before her, a labyrinth of secrets waiting to be uncovered. The air was thick with possibilities, and the night promised both danger and discovery. It was then that her phone rang, the voice on the other end anonymous yet urgent. The informant confirmed the stakes of the new case, hinting at the darkness that lay ahead. The transition from one case to another was seamless, yet fraught with tension. The Harlequin mystery had been resolved, but its echoes lingered, casting long shadows over the path ahead. Eliza knew that this new case would demand everything she had learned and more. It was not just about solving a crime, but navigating the intricate dance of trust and betrayal, where every ally could be a potential adversary. As she stepped into the night, Eliza felt the weight of her journey, the knowledge that justice was a path fraught with peril and moral ambiguity. Yet it was this very complexity that drove her, the challenge of piecing together a puzzle that seemed impossible to solve. The city, with its secrets and shadows, awaited her keen intellect and unwavering resolve. A new case begins. Not only ties up the loose ends of Victor Harlequin's mystery, but also sets the stage for future narratives. It ensures a smooth transition, maintaining the suspense and intrigue that define the series. The promise of more mysteries to come is tantalizing, leaving readers eager for the next chapter in Detective Eliza Sinclair's journey.